It's just up against very well. And so I really do believe that this RNG team with the improvements that they were able to make the win was a fluke. I have been sure that we saw it reflected in playoffs.
It's just up against
teams. You know what? You really can't argue with that. The results are what they are. If you go and watch the games, you really can't argue with that. The results are what they are.
Batman in the back.
If you go and had time to prepare, and they decided we were not going to. Batman in the back. They had time to prepare, and they decided we were not going to. Batman in the back. They had time to prepare, and they decided we were not going to lose this series.
It felt like he was certainly making more impact.
That impact wasn't exactly always. It felt like he was certainly making more impact in these games. However, he was the one that had the game in his hands and had that sort of that impact wasn't exactly always nail down that consistency. You know what? You could be onto something. RNG. However, he was the one that had the game in his hands.
You gave me questions because you're like, oh, you know, like
nail down that consistency. You know what?
Can we talk about our producer here? This guy had RNG first, AL second. Like I'm the one that's getting questions because you're like, oh, you know, like
listen. If I could put our producer on the spot,
can we talk about our producer here?
I absolutely.
This guy had RNG. That's the best part. He can't defend himself. Like I'm the one that's getting questioned,
brother.
We can
what
ask.
Are you doing? I could put our producer on the spot.
What is the selection that we have?
I absolutely would.
That's the best part. He can't defend himself.
Oh,
this is
finished second. Brother,
what
are you doing?
What is this selection that we have here coming in first over anyone's legends?
What is this selection that we have here over anyone's legends? What is this selection that we have here over anyone's legends? What is this selection that we have here over anyone's of this.
We're going to see the
Jochi and RNG
go heads up
against 1X and Feather.
Support change,
for
as everybody knows,
bottom lane and the meta change go heads up against.
We're going to see
there were some scenarios where you would opt
heads up
against 1X and Feather, affectionately named Australia lanes.
As everybody knows, you didn't
really often go heads up.
The fact that lane swaps are now gone does mean that they have to kind of change some of their strategy. I know that yesterday, IG after a couple of their wins, they had a on-stage interview. I don't remember. The fact that lane swaps are now gone does mean that they have to kind of change the fact that some of their strategy. I know that yesterday, IG after a couple of their wins, they had an on-stage interview. I don't remember if it was Mako or standardize the game, rookie, but they were attributing the fact that now that laning phase and on-stage interview, I don't remember if it was Mako or standardize the game. I wonder how much of an effect this is going to have, especially because these two bot lanes have actually been attributing I wonder how much of an effect this is going to have, especially because these two bot lanes have actually been attributing I wonder how much of an effect this is going to have, especially because these two bot lanes have actually so far early into the split already. The big change for me is Mbessa and then random fighter champion, right? How does we are just doing all carries. A lot of our top lane
it's really been a hard left
turn. Random fighter champion, right? How does Mbessa and all carries. A lot of our top lane
it's really been a hard left
turn. Random fighter champion, right? How does Mbessa and all carries. A lot of our top lane
it's really been the round
hard left turn. Random fighter champion. How does Mbessa and all carries. A lot of our top lane
the round
hard left turn. Random fighter champion. How does Mbessa and all carries.
Come out from Mbessa's in their lane is able to of the round robin stage, right? So I mean, this champion
some top laners
over. Looking at you, Hoya, who has played tanks,
crazy damage,
really sacrificed from Mbessa's team. Are you going to be able to stop somebody who plays these carries? Are you going to be able to be a guy? Some top laners. I'm looking at you, Hoya.
Everybody in top lane has played some Mbessa games so far in the season. So
are you going to be able to stop somebody who plays these carries? Are you going to be able to be a guy who plays these?
It's just a matter of for everybody in top lane has played some Mbessa games so far in the season. So not mid lane too unsurprising to see if we're getting some more control mages. It's just a matter of up for TT. While the melees are still good, my eyes, especially in terms of consistency, is really mid lane has kind of evolved. We're getting some more control has the tendency to some pop up sometimes. And like while the melees are still good, my eyes in terms of consistency is really. I think Hoya just has. I think that Hoya moments in games has the tendency to some kind goes forward like a black hole, and then dies, and he just loses all his HP. and he suddenly makes it very difficult for his team to play the game. He has always, I think, been a player that has relied on and then dies and he just loses all his HP, and he suddenly makes it very difficult for his team to play the game. That does help. Always, I think, been a player that has relied on being exciting and being very, very explosive. Really expecting to be right now with what we see in the meta in the LPL as a whole. That does help,
right? And
but I think
they're going to need to evolve a little bit more. And Beishuan is going to have to be one of those players. Stop getting called out and continue to link up with Feather to make big plays. They're going to need good at that. Evolve a little bit more. And Beishuan is going to have to be again, one of those players. Stop getting called out. Was the one getting called out. If you have an advantage, you get called out. Everybody knows it slows the game down dramatically. Ruins your momentum, and again, became ruins your ability to play the game as a whole. Was the one getting called out. If you have an advantage, you get called out. Everybody knows it slows the game down dramatically. Ruins your momentum.
Some big kind of notes coming in from the first 2 days was Mbessa immediately popping up. If you are just joining us for day 3, champion to pick. And suddenly in day 2, some big kind of notes coming in from the first 2 days was Mbessa immediately popping up, and it immediately, I think, changed how everybody was drafting. Suddenly in day 2, that kind of changed. There was a away from blindable solo lanes, and I wonder if these teams and it immediately, I think, changed or if they're going to continue on with the suddenly we were getting jungle first picks. There was a big shift away from blindable solo lanes, and I wonder if these teams have been able to reflect that,
everybody loves Fearless.
Continue on with the read that we've been seeing early on in
pretty
the
genuinely beloved by most. I love that. Given the fact that we're now in best of ones, so right now we're going away from Fearless. Everybody loves Fearless.
What do you mean? This is still Fearless. This is what Lightning keeps telling me, that it's still Fearless. You can't repeat champions.
Given the fact that we're now in best of ones for right now, we're going away from Fearless. But
what do you mean? This is still Fearless. This is what Lightning keeps telling me, that it's still Fearless. You can't repeat champions.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. But getting the spicy adaptations in the LPL, seeing the meta really be fluid from day to day, has today driven up the interest. We saw Curveball the other day with seeing a Corky top. That was kind of wild. Big shout out. You didn't win, but big shout. Today, we saw Curveball the other day with seeing a Corky top.
It's probably going to be coming from our junglers,
wild,
especially
big shout out. You didn't win, but big shout.
Early on in split 1 to kind of pick up like the Karthus. You got your flowers experiments there. A little bit. I mean, we are also probably going to be coming from our junglers, especially Milky Way. We are still waiting to see if teams have been practicing on willing to pick up like the Karthus as well as experiments a little bit. We are also a lot of things, and like you're saying, part of that is our format. We are still waiting to see the fact that we have to play in a tournament where 8 days straight you're playing a bunch of best of ones. It's double round robin. A lot of things, and like you were saying, there is a lot to go through. And you kind of have the fact that we have to play adaptations very quickly. There are 4 days straight you're playing your first day and the second double round robin. That's kind of gonna. There is a lot to go through, and you kind of have to make adaptations very quickly. There are 4 days in between your first day and the second day of groups. That's kind of gonna basically make or break a lot of split 2.
Boom, they hit the ground running. It's a huge sprint. I mean, we've seen in similar formats in the past. I harken back to years. A couple days later, where you'll see a team just have those couple days off.
I was saying that first stand's performance felt very old really great League of Legends-esque, where couple days later starts, we start really well, we beat KC, right? I was saying, hell yeah, we're going to come and play, we're here to play at first stand. Very old, and then the rest of the tournament, where North America starts, we start really well, we beat KC, right? We're like, hell yeah, we're going to come and play, we're here to play at first stand. And LPL, and then the rest of the tournament, first stand did not exist. We don't talk about that. Don't worry, we saved the best for last.
I've never heard of
TES tomorrow. As LTA and LPL, you wait another 24 hours. First stand did not exist.
I mean, they're going to be on.
We don't talk about that. Don't worry, we saved the best for last. TES is tomorrow. Everybody who wants to come hate watch. You can wait another 24 hours.
I mean, they're going to be on. I always love Frog Watch, right? See if people teams are so jealous. But then again, if I want to put a art there, Jinx has been. Really,
that's okay.
Cool. I always love the
at least you're picking up
man. I am so jealous.
With a single stroke.
But then again, if I want
here up against TT and RNG though, it is that's okay. First of their matches. At least you're picking up, especially first starting off. It starts with a single. And I think you look at this matchup here up against TT and RNG though, as an organization is not where first of their matches. Especially first starting off even domestically. And I think you look at this matchup historically, and RNG as an organization is not where highest placement, especially. And now we're seeing them going up against a kind of rebuild, they have not refreshed RNG in a few years. This is going to be our check-in for whether or not only last split was their highest placement, same split and one. Now we're seeing them going up against a RNG that is again revitalized and hopefully this is going to be our check-in some of the narrative of players like Milky Way and going to be that same split one, or are we going to get an RNG that is again revitalized and hopefully kind of rewriting some of the narrative of players like Milky
good
Way
litmus
and
test for RNG. And for Thunder Talk, Wonders, the old check-in. Like, hey, you guys still good over there? Like, we see that you're struggling over there in the corner. Good litmus test. The guy at the party that just got and for Thunder Talk, absolutely blasted in the pregame. Like, hey, you guys still good over there? Like, we see that you're struggling over there in the corner.
All right, Yanni, real quick, how are you pre-gaming LPL today?
Absolutely blasted in the pregame. I got my monster regular season and then playoff croissant.
I like the classic. Real quick, how are you pre-gaming LPL today?
I'm a big classic. How am I pre-gaming LPL? I got my monster since middle school. I go 29 years old.
Okay, stop.
I'm a big classic monster guy.
No one,
been drinking classic monster. Listen, it's okay. It's okay. I'm 29
my
years
birthday's
old.
coming up
soon.
Okay. Stop.
A couple weeks anyway. I just have to.
You're gonna be 30, bro. You're gonna kick you off the broadcast.
No, my birthday's coming up soon. The birthday person is gonna go on Twitter in like a couple weeks anyway.
It's okay. We've had some older 30-year-olds. You're gonna be 30, bro. We're gonna kick you off the broadcast. You're old for this, bro. Running around in the background on production a lot of the times, but she's currently in Hawaii. It's okay. We've had some older 30-year-olds. We still haven't gotten Kelsey Moser onto the show, unfortunately. We will, but
yes,
she's been sitting around. We can continue with the pregame. So you said you got a croissant.
I got a croissant.
Any of the Kelsey Moser fans, please. Do you have any hot takes for LPL for specifically Group B today? I mean, okay, we can continue with the pregame. So you said you got a croissant.
I got a croissant. Is it really a hot take?
Do you have any hot takes for LPL for specifically Group B today?
Okay, hot take for Group B. They're really good, but like that, it doesn't. Is it really a hot take? Saying that they're going to come out and they're going to smash is actually going to come out and smash. Like, but it's interesting.
No,
they're really good, but like we kick it to the draft here. A lot of these junglers getting saying that they're going to come out and they're going to smash RNG is like pretty high priority early now. But after the interesting the Gwen pickups into Ambessa. We kick it to the draft here. A lot of these junglers getting taken away, as you mentioned.
Jace taken away quite yet.
Pretty high priority early now after the
Skarner being taken away. That means that Jace or Rumble is going to make it through. And again, Ambessa has been very popular. Jace taken away quite yet. And with Skarner and Rumble. Getting rid of the Vine Sejuani, very interesting, especially through. Maybe saying that they are trying to very popular first pick, so we can expect that. I just don't see Milky Way as TT though. Getting rid of the Vine Sejuani, very interesting, especially maybe saying that they are trying to
some aggressive playmakers that have really good fight power early,
as a very proficient Sejuani player.
Sometimes you're going to have to make a left turn, really change gears a little bit. Some aggressive playmakers that have really good fight power early, as opposed to the hard CC. But hey, when we get locked in, I wonder if you're going to have to make a left turn, change gears a little bit, away from that a little bit. But it's still good on these super tanks.
Galio's definitely available if they want the flex, but I think the Ambessa is just too strong right now. The fact that feels like teams kind of shied away from the majority of the matchups. But it has a huge wake up on 1 and 2 items. Galio's definitely available if they want the flex, but I think the Ambessa is just too strong right now. The fact that so it basically wins the majority of the matchups. It has a huge maybe they pair up 1 and 2 items kind of continues to be or something like that. Very champion that we didn't get to hit on, and I fine. So what we need to see from both of these junglers now for RNG, a champion that maybe they pair up a melee. Have very rarely been able to see already like that. A champion that we didn't get to hit on.
Yeah, we saw a Kalista get picked up.
I think Kalista, a champion that we still have very rarely been able to see already here in split 2 placements.
So we'll see if that's we saw a Kalista get picked up. Very much lean them into heavy magic damage. And the Nico was taken away. Then Nico was from that combo. So we'll see if that's what Thunder Talk going to opt into.
The Nico.
Very much
just taking a look. We didn't get to see very many Nico games at all from Satat. So going to be assuming this is going to be a jungle support flex here. I like what TT are showing there. The Poppy gets a lot of value. Didn't get to see and you're already getting Nico games pretty robust from Satat fight composition. Going to be assuming this is going to be a jungle support flex. I like what TT are showing there. The Poppy gets a lot of value. And now there's double range bottom lane. Pretty robust. Well, they have some scaling elements. I think again, Undertalk here very strong. With this Renata and Kalista, we're going to need to see Joshi and now there's double range bottom lane. And I think taking away engage, well, they have some scaling elements. I think does play away from their strong. with this Renata and Kalista, we're going to need to see Joshy and Niket play aggressive. And I think taking away engage options from a player like Niket does play away from
like
their
the
strength.
dichotomy of these teams, Barry. It feels like RNG, we have the power picks
top support in the
of
LPL.
Ambessa and Kalista going up against
this time
a team that's really like the dichotomy of these teams, Barry. It feels like RNG, specifically in the power picks of Ambessa and Kalista going up against a team that's well crafted to deal with what RNG has put together, specifically in the Poppy and in the
while it can be slightly difficult against a Renata, I think an Akali to just get under 80 carry focus from RNG, maybe throw in a mid lane ban. Akali is still up and available, and while it can be slightly difficult against a Renata, I think an Akali to just get under woes and get rid of some of the strong laners in the Ashe definitely help them and take away some of the strength from a player like Satab.
For 1xN and potentially Feather, depending on where this Nico goes,
get rid of some of the strong laners in the
contend with this bot lane of Kalista Renata, a little difficult for
you're not going to get any carry that
potentially
has
Feather, depending on where this Nico goes, and really to contend with this bot lane of Kalista Renata, because
Ezreal being gone,
you're not going to get any carry that has a ton of poke and really do.
I got baited by hovers.
I thought it was locked in for a second.
I can feel it. I can feel it. So we'll see what RNG are looking for. Probably going to be trying to pick up.
I got baited by hovers.
Mid-lane,
I thought it was locked in for a second.
This is pretty interesting. The fact that we haven't been able to see. We'll see what RNG are looking for. Probably going to be trying to pick up a. So we're moving the Ambessa away. This is pretty interesting. The fact that we haven't been able to see coming in for RNG. So prepping themselves with really strong team fight again. So we're moving the Ambessa away to kind of keep those members in with the masterwork engage, but coming in for RNG. So pretty good amount of themselves with really strong team fight again later into the game. This can be an insurance policy to kind of keep those members in with the masterwork engage.
Through all the crap that
I think
RNG
this is a pretty good amount of CC coming in from Royal Never Give Up.
Over to Satab. It's really heavily indexed into magic damage. Kind of wade through all the crap that RNG is going to throw at them. Build yourself up some magic damage. You might be able to have a good time. Over to Satab.
I would say
heavily indexed into magic damage.
Them being low range is not great for them, but you look over on the opposite side, you have a lot of die, you have a lot of ways to kind of use some of normally that them being low range is not great for them. I mean, Caitlyn is great for the laning phase, but I think you have a lot of die, you have a lot of ways to kind of is still very dangerous. And let's see what Milky Way has been cooking up, because with the composition that they have, Caitlyn is great for the laning phase, but I think the all-in potential of a Kalista and a Renata is still very dangerous. And let's see what Milky Way has been cooking up, because with the composition that they have, I think that they still need another bridge champion, something like Squishy, out to go for the flash engages, and that might and get onto the enemy team. But I think into a Poppy, especially as the solo magic damage dealing threat on your team, I guess I want to say like it's going to be very go for the flash engages, and that might not been work. So I think into a Poppy, and especially as the solo magic damage dealing threat on your team.
Thunder Talk is dealing with the Ornn ultimate and dealing with the Renata ultimate. That's Milky Way's prime time to be able to slip into these fights when tag 3 members. Thunder Talk is dealing with the Ornn ultimate and dealing with the Renata ultimate. They come out of their initial CC, they're Milky Way's prime time, and to be able to slip into these fights. Tag 3 on Thunder Talk to make sure that they have him in check. So by the time they come out of their initial CC, they're already charging into a wall and hope to get the job done from there. Slow him up with a be on Thunder Talk to make sure that it's going to be a little bit difficult, though. I kind of like what RNG has put together. At least Poppy charge him into a wall if you get an opportunity to.
Yeah, look, you're playing the Rumble into
it's going to be a little bit difficult, though. I kind of like what RNG has put together.
As well, I think what we need to see from Thunder Talk is them taking control of the early game. You're playing the Rumble into for yourself, and as long as they can hit those first 2 items, I think Thunder Talk can feel very confident about Thunder Talk is them taking control of the early game. Rise is going to be very unkillable. He's also going to have access, and as long as they can hit those first 2 items, so I think getting those 2 and 3 items for Thunder Talk, I feel like they have a better time playing this game. Rise is going to be very unkillable. He's also going to have access to stuff like the Frozen Heart as well. So getting those 2 and 3 items for Thunder Talk, I feel like they have a better time playing this game. And Royal Never Give Up
Ambessa in the mid lane, I mean, you're not going to have as easy of a time as you would in the top lane. I think, especially leverage your Kalista and your Ambessa. So the Ambessa in the mid lane, I mean, you're not going to have as easy of a time and make that word in the top lane. You're not going to have especially roams into a range matchup like any other champion. pretty much. You'll be able to farm, but the question is, will you be able to do much more and make that early game impact? You're not going to have as impactful
two bottom lanes. We were talking about the fact there is no lane swaps. You can't really avoid the fact that you're going to have to play into what I am going to be really interested in is, again, these two bottom lanes. We were talking about the fact there is no lane swaps. I want to see how Judgy and Niket avoid this off the fact that you're going to have to play into biggest strengths and some of his biggest moments from 2024 and even the one series that we got to see. I want to see how Judgy and Niket kind of pull this off because so I think the Ket's all-in laning phase, we need to see if RNG can come to moments from 2024 and even the one series that we got to see was some of their winning ways from traditional into 2025. So all-in laning phase, we need to see if RNG can come to scrap
coming from the bot lane
TT are going to continue some of their winning ways from early on into 2025.
Glad they gave him such a power pick too. This is a really good way to start of the split coming from the bot lane of RNG, Judgy. Our cards on the table. We're going to play on really aggressive. Glad they gave him such a power pick too. Because really good way to start talking them out. This is a team that, you know what, we're going to potentially be our cards on the table. Their early struggle, really aggressive in the playoffs. What can we get out of it? You come in, shock value them, end up going 1-0. I mean, that could drastically potentially be reeling after their early struggle.
Ooh, look at our two junglers though. Setab took his Raptors and immediately trying to wrap around bot. It's this Poppy, very potent gank coming through. Ooh, look at our two junglers, though.
Big problem for the bot lane of RNG. First blood goes to
bot. It's this Poppy. Judgy never uses gank coming through. Bitchwan changes his out and says,
big problem for the bot lane of RNG. First blood goes to
straight into his camps. I don't think Judgy just never uses his flash. Bitchwan changes his out and says, look, we'll just get ourselves the first kill of the game. And he gets to go straight into his camps. Getting the summoner spells from Niket at that much of a disadvantage for Thundertalk. Already up camps 2.5 times, so he's going to hold a slight lead in the jungle, but
so much early too,
and getting the summoner spells
shut down a Kalista.
Has to be feeling
it was unfishing.
Already up late 2.5 minutes.
Nobody pinged it out. Yeah, nobody pinged them out. Did they just not look? Much early too.
I'm going to assume that there was just not enough.
It was unfishing.
Nobody pinged it out. Nobody pinged them out. Did they just not look?
Big mistake. It sucks. I'm going to assume that there was just not enough communication coming in from the team. Still some opportunity. I think the fact that Niket lane's obviously not quite also a pretty big mistake. It sucks to see, especially when we're talking about that they needed to come out. He still has a lot of lanes that he can gank. Still some opportunity that he has two lanes basically of priority. Obviously not quite bottom lane just with top lane. Definitely going to be able to help him. Is able to do now. I think on the opposite side, he still has a lot of lanes that he can gank. The fact that he has two lanes basically of priority from his bottom lane and his top lane.
Honestly, it feels like a turbo clear into, hey, maybe we have an angle here, punish some over-aggression by these pushing lanes. But it feels like you might already be on the turbo clear track if you're RNG. Hey, maybe we have an angle here. I don't know if the plan B track could get you aggression by these pushing lanes. Moving over to the mid lane, he's been so good. It feels like you might already be on the plan B track if you're RNG. He's going to flash out. Well, Milky Way going to flash after him, and he'll pick up his first of the game. Kept moving over to the mid lane. He's been so good at roaming over. As Satan is caught in a 3v1, he's going to flash over. Well, Milky Way going to flash after him, and he'll pick up his first of the game.
A lot of the other champions usually in the lane don't have the same stats as her. So threatened there. You're playing Mbessa, who is a very dangerous champion, especially in the mid lane. The fact that a lot of the other champions just a little bit careful don't have the same fact is that it is very good for the mid lane matchup here. Behind, I mean, Setab just had recall, teleported back into the lane. Does have to be just a little bit careful. And the fact is that he does make it very good for the mid lane matchup. I think again you're trying to right the ship. Setab just had recall, teleported back into the lane. What early objectives are they prioritizing? They are leaving their bottom lane right now. Milky Way, but so I think again you're trying to right the ship. They're going to immediately try to swap. We're past the lane swap timer now, so yeah, they're going to do it now. Okay, they are leaving their bottom lane right now.
Teleport into the bottom lane to catch that wave. Instead, your bottom lane up top.
They're going to immediately try to swap. We're past the lane swap timer now, so yeah, they're going to do it now. Okay.
In the later stages, Zhao keep them away from lane to catch that wave. And send your bottom lane up top.
How much can they get off of this, though? It's 50 seconds before the Void Grubs are going to be spawning. And
in the later stages of the game, and keep them away from 1x
map early on. See the pings come out. TT have an idea. How much can they get off of this, though? It's 50 seconds before the Void started, but they don't know going to be spawning what order of camps that she took, right? It was those Raptors immediately into the pings come out. TT and on the top side of the map. So now, he'll be pretty powerful going into this next order of camps that she took, right? It was those Raptors now immediately into the bot lane to move in buff, but it's going to be the top side of the map. So now he'll be pretty powerful going into this next
if you're
fight.
Thunder Talk, Milky Way on the faded Ashes spike that everybody likes to joke about. It has a lot of truth to it.
Going over to RNG.
A nice job getting good damage down on the Jacci. He's trapped. Wait a minute. He could be dead. He's going to get bailed out, but he's going to bleed out. He will fall. Nageta is going to be the next target.
Nice job.
He's having trouble trying to get away. The road is there. Feather. He's trapped. Wait a minute. He could be dead. He's going to get bailed out, but he's going to bleed out. He will fall. Nageta is going to be the next target. He's having trouble trying to get away. The road is there. Feather and 1XN playing great.
And then the 1XN bot lane, man, him and Feather have been playing for such a long time, not only here in the LPL, but in their finding themselves previously in the LDL. And this bot lane duo has just not missed a beat. TT feels so strong, especially now trying to play around, finding themselves a pretty big win. And RNG just feel lost at this point. They don't have a play, they don't have a lane to bottom lane. TT feels so strong, especially now, as a double range, being able to control this brush is so important. And RNG just feel lost at this point. They don't have a play. They don't have a lane, man. Any bit of CC just means you're right into a trap. And as a double ranged, being able to control this brush is so important. And you're playing with a Caitlyn, man.
You love to see
bit of CC just means you're
from
right into
your
a
bottom
trap.
lane up on the top side.
Really well played.
And now for RNG, it's going to be a hey, we hit level 6 and we're throwing all our ultimates down angle and looking to see from your bottom lane up on the top side.
Thunder Talk just
now for RNG, it's going to be a hey, we hit level 6 and we're throwing all our ultimates down angle and looking to see what sticks.
Because you know,
running away with this game. Okay, it's not terrible, but it's not great.
Here against the ultimate missing there is good.
He's
already half HP, and you look at the state of the map.
It's not terrible, but it's not great.
Because you already had Poppy in the ultimate missing there Nico would have loved to have seen it, but he was already half HP. And you look at the state of the map, and maybe it was a blessing in disguise because you already had Poppy in the area. Caitlyn was also, Nico was making their way down.
Feather and Basewan up on the top side, flash forward as they want Jacci dead again, and they may be able to find him. Is he going to be able to get bailed out? Does he have a second? Here we go. The lead is there.
Feather and Basewan up on the top side, flash forward
as they want Jacci dead again, and they may be able to find him.
As Tab gets out from mid, they're just getting as possible for this Caitlyn. So the plate and bottom lane
onslaught on the bot lane of RNG.
As the Tab gets out from mid, they're just getting as many plays as possible for this Caitlyn. So the plate and bottom lane still occurs his opponent. He is almost half of his team's gold in general, and 1XN now already 8 minutes into this game has a 1,000 gold carry over his opponent. He is almost half of his team's gold in general, and so now let's see how TT are able to play around their star
much more impactful after the lane swap changes. I don't think either of us could have expected the absolute blistering start that Thunder Talk about put out here. The bot lanes are going to be much more impactful after the lane swap changes. Developmental. I don't think either of us could have expected RNG absolute blistering start that they're taking their lumps here. They're going to learn today, especially into a bot lane that
because it's literally that first
good developmental regard on the side of RNG.
In the way that it does.
They're taking their lumps here. They're going to learn today.
Now it's unfortunate because it's literally that first gank. If that first gank from Vishwan does not get faster in the way that it does, then he's really screwed, right? Because now you've taken a advantage for their bottom lane. You stop now rolling into this versus someone like they can take whichever objective they want to get faster and faster. Their bottom lane around the map and kind of move and the fact that they're able to grab that, they get an immediate advantage for their bottom lane. Again, we're seeing it supplying. They can take whichever objective they want the map, but move their bottom lane around the map. Or move their trying to stop the play from happening. So Thunder Talk already
is going to be forced to flash away, but
answers
unable to bail out the top lane.
Some parts of RNG are starting or trying to stop the play from happening.
Saytime is going to be forced to flash away, but of that goal, unable to bail out the top lane. Large portion of will go over to Thunder Talk 1XN.
Did a great job there, even though Satab does have to lose his flash. He really is just there to mark where Jacci and the
portion of this gold lead
immediately marks them, says, "Hey, if you want to be able to great job there, even though Satab does have to lose his flash, he really is just there to trade, but that first turret is so important now, and they're just going to be able to immediately go mid, push, and then we still haven't had the first dragon. So I wonder if TT are going to say, look, we already have trade, let's try to get first turret is so important now, and they're just going to be able to immediately go mid, push, and then we still haven't had the first dragon. I get the dragon, we already know that they can't try to fight us, let's try to get 4, 5, and 6, as long as they have perfect information, we try to get vision on side laners in the Rumble. I think it's very difficult or if they just say, look, to make a get the dragon, we already know that they can't try to fight us.
Map
as long
is
as they
their
have
oyster
perfect
at this
information
point.
and they try to get vision as to
Rubs
where
4,
RNG
5, and
are,
6.
I think it's
especially
very
with the
difficult
kind of
for
damage
TT
that
to make
Feather
a
has.
wrong
He's
step
got
in
that
this
early
moment.
X-Tech alternator. Means that oyster will just have so much room to hit these turrets. Rubs 4, 5, and 6 as the game progresses. Especially with the kind of damage that Feather has. He's got that early X-Tech alternator. It means that 1XN will just have so much room to hit these turrets.
So they did have vision of
as
this.
the game progresses. It looks like
will be seeing that RNG are starting
on the bottom
up
side.
dragon. 6
Dragon.
Very important though. I mean, they've already gotten rid of the first turret. I want to see how they did have vision of this. Play the map here because they will be seeing that RNG are starting and then realm dragon towards the bottom lane. 6 grubs very important though. I mean, they've already gotten rid of the first turret, and we have. I want to see how Satab is going to be able to play the map here already because I think very easily them already gone down bot lane down towards the bottom lane. They're trying to see 6 grubs. We're at 11 minutes as possible, and we already have a completed item here for 1XN. 8 plates gone already because I think 1 or 2 of them already gone down bot lane.
So not sure if they're going to be able to get them starting to run low on time for that, but I'm sure they're happy with what they've gotten so far. Cresting toward the 12-minute mark. Perfect early game of 15 plates. Menace known as Not sure if they're going to be able to get him starting to run low on time for that. Down a big boogeyman with in 2025. It's caught a lot of bans, but 12-minute when you're blessed in the bot lane as Thundertalk, Menace known as Callista, it's been absolutely shut down. A big boogeyman in 2025. It's caught a lot of bans, but when you're blessed in the bot lane as Thundertalk,
the game is at, I don't think we're going to get very many developments from this play, especially with no objective spawning until 4 minutes. So now we're here. What I want to see now from RNG how they're able to kind of where the game is at. I don't think we're going to say, hey, look, let's get our first item onto our no objective spawning until 4 minutes. Look for a play then. What I want to see now from RNG and how they're able to kind of around matchups. Say, hey, look, let's get our first item onto our bottom lane.
Oh, no, Ned's flashing forward. He's going to get his ultimate off. He gets pulled back as well. They're going to go focus Beishwan here. He's able to die, and the red carpet gets rolled out by Hoya as he starts catching down Milky Way, going in, trying to put 3 members to sleep. The question is the follow-up. Taguan gets to 1XN, and the red carpet gets rolled out by Hoya. Gets rendered and goes down. Hoya going away, trying to put 3 members to sleep. 1XN is going to stand tall. Taguan gets to 1XN, trying to deal with him. Feather gets rendered and goes down. Hoya running away. Thundertalk running scared. 1XN's got to stand tall, but he crumples under the pressure.
So he moves on over. Oh my God, wait a minute. Those are huge shutdown spells gone. Going over to RNG. That was looking risky. I had questions as to whether or not Niket was doing a little bit of already in the bottom lane protesting in that fight, they get the ultimate, but it turns out multiple summoner spells situation. That was looking risky. I had questions as to whether or not Niket was doing a little bit of here to some silent protesting in that fight, but it now this ultimate into a really good situation. Nobody from TT. It starts off with really getting great position, but this flash here just not seeing Feather forces the cleanse, and now this ultimate just completely really high hope the fight. Nobody from TT here in this first game. He's got some good moments, and we're also just not seeing Feather goes nowhere and gives one of the fight parts that I think we had.
Yeah, it was a really difficult fight for him. I mean, Beishwan actually helped Niket out a little bit.
Right here, this ultimate just goes nowhere and gives over the fight to RNG.
Feather really, yeah, it was a really difficult fight for him. I mean, Beishwan actually helped Niket out a little bit. Thundertalk with when his ultimate came through, the ones to not dust themselves off. Feather going really far off to the side. Probably thought that he lost his opportunity for a big ultimate.
The turret becomes that much easier to take down.
Never the ones to not dust themselves off. They're going to go and crunch this bottom lane.
The fact that RNG have been able to kill, so they'll lose out on the plates, but that just means that the turret becomes that much easier to take down. A little bit harder, but they take another turret for TT. The fact that RNG have been able to keep, they're able to control vision around this objective as does mean gets tagged. Here comes the call, the Force God coming through. It's going to knock up 3, and they manage to find 1XN. He's getting low. Will he be able to survive? No, but Janchi dies in the backside, and here comes Taguan to the back line on top of Hoya, and they manage to find 1XN. He's getting low. Gives his life to survive to try to save the support, but no can do as he gets knocked up on top of another kill on top of Feather. Xiaoju running them down as well. Hoya gives his life to try to save the support. But no can do as he gets knocked up, and it's another kill for Milky Way. RNG fighting back. They said the early game was horrendous, but hey, this mid game is looking good right now. TT are giving them openings to play in what was a game that should have been really clean and are getting gold in their back pocket to play. And this RNG is starting to take off. And now we're finding more and more gold.
Disrupting these fights all.
This top side,
take a look at this replay. Xiaoju, good timing on his ultimate. He says, you know what, why not now?
Starting to take off. Yeah, I think it's fine that it kind of lands on him, but what does this Rumble ult do? It's hitting absolutely no one. It stops no one.
Xiaoju, good timing on his ultimate. He says, you know what, why not now?
I just feel like some of the pieces of TT are not as coordinated as we would like to see them here. It stops no one. And then Feather with this ultimate. I think those more I just feel like some of the pieces of TT are not as coordinated as we would like to see them here. And we need that to be fixed pretty well going into this, but I think those more 1xN's doing than Feathers. This Nico is providing absolutely nothing to the team right now, and we need that to be fixed.
He's had it rough in the last couple of fights. We talked about how Thunder Talk, they get to their 2-item spikes. It was fantastic. Really hard to take down a good game. With the early game that they had, we figured, they were had it rough in the last couple of fights. We talked about how Thunder Talk said they needed to leverage their team fight ultimates. It would be really hard to take down, and with the early game that they had, we figured they were going to cruise to that, and they were going to crush it. But RNG, we said they needed to leverage their team fight ultimates. They have done so perfectly.
Walk around the map. And what I want to see now from confirming the crowd control ship here is make sure that Feather and Feather are linking up together. Very predictable. You can see it coming from a mile away. Walk around the map and make sure that we're confirming the crowd control. We need to see these two and the rest of the team really kind of gather together. Is right very predictable. You can make sure that they're able to get from a mile away if she's not going for the team as they grab themselves. So we need to see these two and the rest of the team really kind of looking to try together, potentially demolish into mid. Make sure that they're able to get something. I would like to see TT save this as they grab themselves spawning in 3 minutes now, so that is something that I think is going to be a try to big game changer for demolish into mid. Although I would like to see
so many times the team that starts Otacon,
we do have Otacon spawning in 3 minutes,
incredibly far ahead.
I think is going to
it's a bit of a throw machine,
game changer for both of these teams.
Could be. Just one of so many times the team that starts Otacon, if you're not the game, incredibly far ahead. We'll see. It's a bit of a throw machine, and both these sides waiting until just what one of these teams. I'm sure they want Milky Way on a second item. Full control of the game.
Close second items coming in for a lot of team members, especially when I look at a player like Satab on this ride.
I'm sure they want Milky Way on the second
already
item
on the Rod of Ages, a fully stacked tier. Close second items coming in for a lot of team members, especially when I look at those items come in. That's like that ticking time bomb that we're looking at. 2 stacks already on the Rod of Ages, a fully stacked some of those second items again are starting to reach. So once those items come in for that's like that ticking time bomb that we're looking at TT to really come.
All right, Basewan, let's see what you got. Driver's license is boo. And Shelly's not going to even go to the bottom side. Sure, she probably wasn't going to charge anyway. All right, Basewan, let's see what you got. Driver's license is boo. And Shelly's not going to even go to the bottom side. Sure, she probably wasn't going to charge anyway. But still very sad.
Again, that mid-tier one, we talked about it a little bit earlier about the fact that it is but providing RNG with a little bit of safety now so they can get some of their lane waves to walk into their bot side river. And again, that mid-tier one, we talked about it a little bit earlier about the fact that it is providing RNG with a little bit of safety. Despite the last 2 team fights going the way of RNG, their bot side river, TT still have a gold advantage. This Caitlyn is still really far ahead. And if they're able to kind of, despite the last 2 team fights going the way of RNG, some of the wrongs that they've already had, still have a gold advantage. They still have a really far ahead front to back here with if they're able to kind of with this Nico mend the ship, mend some of the wrongs that they've already had.
Xiaoju,
I think they still have a really
disrupt 1xN
here with
both of them on their 2 items. 1xN going to have a hard time taking down this Ornn at this point, and we're going to have to see. I don't know if we'll be able to survive Xiaoju and Tangyuan. As long as you're able to get to the back line, you'll be in good shape if you're RNG. Both of them on their 2 items. 1xN going to have a hard time taking down this Ornn at this point. Just 7 minutes ago. I don't know if we'll be able to survive.
On paper, this should be a great game.
As long as you're able to get to the back line, you'll be in good shape if you're RNG, feeling much better about the game now than they were just 7 minutes ago.
On paper, this should be a great game for Mbessa. Immediately has to use the McHales. So far, it's not going to be available for this upcoming Otacon fight in 15 seconds. That is a big thing that I'm kind of looking at right now. Xiaosu on this immediately has to use the McHales, so that's not going to be available for this upcoming Otacon fight. Give those out to the rest of the team. Big things that I'm kind of looking at right now. Xiaosu on this is actually down 30, so getting closer to those masterwork upgrades. What we want to see and give those out to the rest of the team. Top. But
and Hoya,
that's kind of like the bread and butter of someone like Hoya.
Is actually down 30
good
to the orange.
Less resource-intensive champions.
Not what we're expecting from a carry top.
He's just got to straighten up those equalizers.
That's kind of like the bread and butter of someone like Hoya.
Okay in the fight near the Dragon, but the last one, we don't talk about that. He's just got to straighten up those equalizers. One bad one, he equalized. But that one that was pretty okay in the fight near the Dragon, but the last one, we don't talk about that.
Milky Way and
we had one okay one bad one. He
come back out onto the map. There are 2 objectives to be played for within the next minute here. Going not only is Otacon available, but map we're seeing have this Dragon take their resets. I think this is the more important one for me, especially because it is a voracious objectives to be played for within the next minute. Revive passive for not only is Otacon available, but after that is this Dragon. You are potentially looking at for me, especially because it is a voracious Otacon. It is just going to be so I want to see them revive passive towards this bottom side to reinforce. But after that, that starts with them. You are coming through the mid lane, looking at this out, and moving as a squad RNG. So I want to see them put their vision towards this bottom side right now. We'll see if they elect to go for
vision on the bottom side. We'll see if Thundertalk maybe says, hey, we'll let RNG have an Otacon if they want it. We'll go and take the Dragon away. Squad through the top side right now. We'll see if they elect to go for kind of vision on the bottom side. We'll see if Thundertalk maybe says, hey, really need to see them get down to have an Otacon if they want it. We'll go and take the Dragon away.
Already finished the Riftmaker here, so
just
him and
clearing out their camps right now is Milky Way. Really need to see them get down to one of these objectives.
For Milky Way, already coming back to the team maker here, originally lent him out. Him and Tangyuan before the start of 2024. Game changers. I think that there were some questions as to whether or not Milky Way is going to be able to
for Milky Way,
coming back to the team that originally lent him out.
So far this year has not been the case. He's had some okay games.
I think that there were some questions as to whether or not Milky Way is going to be able to replicate some of that also reflective, I think, of some of their.
And so far this year has not been the case. He's had some okay.
They're going to go for that Dragon, and I like what we're seeing from TT. Play the map. You have this rise. You have also reflective, I think, of some force RNG to get into a really tricky situation here. So
and maybe
they're going to go for that Dragon, and I like what we're seeing from TT.
Play the map
now. 4 minutes before this Dragon, 6 grubs.
You haven't
forced RNG to get into a really tricky situation.
Difficult for
and maybe
Yanni,
we're going to potentially
maybe it's a little too
Baron have to come down
4 minutes before this Dragon
in this one.
You haven't, I think, developed the map in a state
you're happy with your 700 gold you got on Say-Tab there for that top inner, but is he going to be your savior? He's a guy who's been known for these melee champions.
Yeah, you're happy with your 700 gold you got on Say-Tab there for that top inner, but
reminiscent of some of the best to ever play the game.
He's a guy who's been known
this around
for these melee champions.
For Thundertalk, he's going to have the position that they're in, really classic Rise performance. The reminiscent of some of the best to ever play the game.
It doesn't get easier for RNG to play this again. Poppy's going to continue to get more stats. She's going to be
weird position that they're in up gold.
She is a great counter to champions like the Callista and the Ambessa.
It doesn't get easier for RNG to play this again. Poppy's going to continue to get more stats. She's going to have access to.
She is a great counter to champions like the Callista.
From how they're playing the team fights,
you even have again the rise that we're talking about. The amount of stats whether or not going to have access to.
I don't know.
Get them very resilient.
But the last couple team fights,
from how they're playing the team fights, them set up around this top side. So I need to see Satab with this rise. How creative are we?
I don't know. Get their act together.
Yeah, we haven't really seen that happen yet.
Not been going their way.
That's the bread and butter of that champion. Is Milky Way is just going to flash on the feather. He's going to put him to sleep. Milky Way is so deep right now, but hammered out of the fight. But we've seen that happen yet.
That's a win, though. I mean,
that's the bread and butter of that champion. Is Milky Way is just going to flash on the feather. He's going to put him to sleep. Milky Way is so deep right now, but hammered out of the fight by Base.
Having to just that's a win, though. I mean, you're trading the jungle flash. Hoya will be able to TP Nico play here for Thundertalk.
Hoya
now on the side lane. This is RNG having to just make their call. They have to be able to start up this Otacon. Hoya will be able to
dashing away, using the Blasco and trying to link up with the rest of his team. The mid lanes. The Otacon has gone down. He now has the revive passive and base. So if he goes down,
whoa.
Taiwan dashing.
No, but now we're using the flash from Satab. He already has the respawn.
The Otacon has gone down.
This was, I think, Thundertalk getting a little too high.
So if he goes down,
great delay.
No, but now we're using the flash from Satab. He already has the respawn.
All of the outer structures now.
This was, I think, Thundertalk getting a little too high. Yes, they tried to make that play good on this dragon spawning. It's another turret going down and gone. But meanwhile, all of the outer structures now for RNG are down and utilize. Can they make good on this dragon spawning?
The pockets of the Thundertalk carries.
You
cannot wait for your revive to fall off, you may just lose the fight, you may just lose the game. So much gold spilling into the pockets of the Thunder Talk carries. This dragon you cannot wait for your revive to fall off. You may just lose the fight, you may just lose the game.
They get pushed into mid, they're going to move into this bottom side river. You already see that
dragon is up.
Milky Way are pushing forward into the enemy jungle, getting vision and getting wards down for their team. They get pushed into mid and move into this bottom side river. You already see that it's going to be the evolution of the Rod of Ages at the same time here for Satab, getting level 16 at 25 minutes. Kind of feels like him and 1XN have to put the team on their back. The evolution of the Rod of Ages at the same time here for Satab.
They're in a good position too, and they are precisely the players that you'd want.
Kind of feels like him and 1XN have to put the team on their backs if they want any chance of staying in this game one.
Baron side, they're in a good position too, and they are just precisely the players that you'd want to be able to decide. So, all right, now's a good time to go in.
Mentioned RNG's clone controlling,
light the way.
Baron side here.
We got some vision, but the Baron Talker just chilling in the mid lane, waiting down to 10,000 HP. Call the Forge out coming in. All right, Tangyuan manages to get on some key targets. Big knock-ups there on Hoya and Satab. Zhaozhu is tanking them all up as Tangyuan got forced away. Call the Forge out coming in. Tangyuan manages to get on some key targets. Big knock-ups there on Hoya and Satab. Zhaozhu is tanking them all up as Tangyuan got forced away. They can't get into the mid lane. They can't to kill the mid laner of RNG. Feather off to the side. Finds Milky Way. Jachi is dashing in, but he's hitting a clone.
Yeah, so he pulled him. So he pulled him in the middle. I think he's still going to go back to
only putting one member to sleep as 5 members strong.
Ends up going back to base.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, unfortunate there. Yeah, so he pulled him. So he pulled him in the middle. I think he's still going to go flash now on base. Let's see what happens. No cleanse coming in from 1XN. And this now opens up the dragon spawning. Yeah, unfortunate there for Jachi's unable to stay in support in time, but look at what they traded. No flash now on base one. No cleanse coming in from 1XN. And this now opens up the dragon spawning in 18 seconds. And you look at this, Tangyuan's going to be able to teleport back into this play, but they're also missing some of those crucial RNG contest for this Infernal Soul. They have a lot of movement speed on their team.
RNG has gotten into the fast track on the dragon.
Going to be able to teleport back into
has started it up. Satab on the way. Tangyuan on the way. Dragon Red Buff giving down. Regen to Beishuan. RNG has gotten into the fast track on the dragon. As Milky Way has started it up. Satab on the way. Tangyuan on the way. Needs to be the one to get in there. Looks like it will potentially save the game for his shorthanded.
What the hell,
just doesn't do anything. Beishuan going all the way in. They find Jachi. Beishuan is low. Milky Way forced away. Tangyuan in the middle of the fight. He's got to make his ultimate. Just doesn't do anything. Beishuan going all the way in. They find Jachi. Beishuan is low. Milky Way forced away. Tangyuan, but you got no health bars left as RNG melts away. Milky Way goes golden, but you're stuck in gold because these guys are challenging. But you got no health bars left as RNG melts away. Milky Way goes golden, but you're stuck in gold because these guys are challenger. Over on Thunder Talk, it's an ace.
Just lost your yeah, but it's not clean coming in from them. It's just, hey, you're missing out on ace. It's going to be the Baron going over the trigger a little too soon. You just lost your
savior of Thunder Talk, the big purple worm, completely free.
And now for Ace, it's just going to be the Baron going over 10,000 gold in a pretty big win.
Take a look at the savior of Thunder Talk, the big purple worm, completely free for them, and will be over a 10,000 gold lead. Take a look at the Otacon fight that happened here with the Otacon.
All right, first of all, the Ord ultimate that hurts. I think Niket, hey, while this part of the fight is split, I think that the fact that this damage dealers are just so sloppy. It starts with this Rumble ultimate. Now there's another ult's missing. Hey, while this part of the fight is split, too damn tanky with the steadfast presence. This dragon play is just so sloppy. It starts with this Rumble here. Callisto now down early into this fight. Again, the ultimate's poppy. Too damn tanky with the steadfast presence at this moment.
Yeah, you mentioned that Beishuan was going to be damn near unkillable. If he's the first one to go in, RNG are going to dump all their damage on him. And if you're ain't able to kill him, the fight is not going to go well for you. Yeah, you mentioned that Beishuan was going to be damn near unkillable. Is now looking. If he's the first one to go in, RNG are going to dump all their damage on him. And if you're ain't able to kill him, the fight is not going to go well for you.
It's going to have to be legendary.
Satab picks up his triple.
If they want to
stay in this mighty fine on this
the placement stage. Well, Baron and with 6 grubs, you have to imagine this was about what we could have expected. I think coming into this matchup, they want to stay in this first game. Some really good games from Split 1. And while I think some of the jitters
this was
about what we could have expected, I think coming here in the first matchup, RNG just do not look equipped in this game to actually play. The bottom lane, while I think some of the jitters never got off to a good start, and then we saw that the mid and jungle. So far, Taiwan has had a really rough game one to start in this game to actually play. The bottom lane
so
condition never got off to a good start.
With their big ultimates, but when you're down that far, that early, it makes it that much harder. Thundertalk is that much stronger. They need to overcome this deficit. So in later skirmishes with their big ultimates, but when you're down that far, that early, more on even makes it that much harder. Thundertalk is that much stronger. Never able to turn it fully in their favor. This deficit. So in later fights, they can't find 1XN. Feather coming through a big double pop blossom, and 1XN is free hitting. The Ket wasn't even there. Jachi gets rooted. Milky Way going for a big sleep, but he gets put to sleep. Through a big double pop blossom, and 1XN is free hitting. The Ket wasn't even there. Jachi gets rooted. Milky Way going for a big sleep, but he gets put to sleep.
They make it look easy as well. They
pulled back by his support looking to save the KDA. The turrets go down, and Thundertalk win their first game of the double round robin.
They make it look easy as well. They smashed the bottom lane. They had some pretty worrisome trends for this game fights, but
it wasn't
thankfully for them, they were able to pull it together around that Baron, around the Dragon. Good job from Thundertalk, but some worrying trends for this group.
You want them to be a little bit sharper. It wasn't clean. For a team that had such high expectations, you lost to a BLG team that people thought, where they weren't perfect, they were getting. You want them to be a little bit sharper. You need to be better than what you showed here in order to be a serious contender in the LPL. You lost to a BLG team that people thought
this does feel like the group of really anybody can take second place.
You need to be better than what you showed here in order to be a serious contender in the LPL.
Maybe not the Ultra Prime one. This does feel like the group of really anybody can take second. I just want the Ultra Prime social media guy to stop Ultra Prime posting on timeline. It's maybe not the Ultra Prime. I don't want to see it. It makes me sad.
Maybe
there's some hope. They seem pretty. I just want the Ultra Prime social media guy to stop being sad. Focusing back in RNG. I don't know what happened this game, man. Like they seem pretty fun. Not really find any success at all on focusing back in RNG. This bottom lane got completely. I don't know what happened this game, man. I think so about their mechanics and more so really find any success at all on the opener. With Poppy, this bottom lane got completely smashed. First camp. Less, I think, so about their mechanics and more so again the creativity. It just felt like no one on RNG level one opener kind of with Poppy after the first clear or first camp.
They had a lot of consistency issues.
I don't know, man. Just
Zhao Shu had a couple of good Ornals, but then you saw the last couple of fights. I mean, that fight near the Baron, you got a great double knockup. They had a lot of consistency charge, but if you're missing your Ornal, Zhao Shu had you're gonna have a bad time. But then you saw as well had some fights. I mean, pretty good. And that fight near the Baron on where you've got a great double knockup, disruptor, forcing charge 1XN away. If you're missing your ultimate, you're gonna have a bad fight where Feather really as well had some there. Pretty good Ambessa fights earlier on where he's but being a big disruptor, forcing 1XN away. He's in a 1v4 scenario. He's not a Dragon fight where Feather really couldn't get in there. Not gonna be able to rip them apart. Where he sequestered them off the Tanyuan, but later in fights he's in a 1v4 scenario. He's not a stupid Fed Ambessa. He's not gonna be able to rip them apart.
So yeah, he also just missed way too many. I really am hoping that RNG are able to bounce back. That makes it quite another game in more difficult. They are playing the third game and the last game of the day. It sucks. I really am hoping that RNG are able to bounce back. They do have another game in working for them. They are playing the third game and the last game of the day. The great spots, especially Jachi and Niket, these two individually were able to perform what exactly was small areas of the game. I think we got to see, but just some the rest of the team was not really all coordinated. We never got to see a proper team fight for them. These two individually, I think, were able to unfortunately in small areas of the game stalled out the game. The rest of the team was not really all coordinated. We never got to see a proper team fight for them. And
credit to the Ket.
I think that unfortunately that level one really stalled out the game. Hey, very difficult.
If you're able to do more of that, maybe you'll find a way back in. You'll see a way back into that mid roam. But if he's on a different kind of champion, you know, hey, engage. If you're able to do more of that, maybe you're able to do that. But you'll find a way back and you'll see a way back on the Renata. But if he's on a different kind of champion, one of these engaged tanks that never really caught 1XN, do that, but a little limited 1XN's early strength to beat the crap out of his own teammates. Ultimate's part of the Red Sea a lot of the time.
Now coming into this, we're looking at our next matchup, Ultra Prime versus
use 1XN's early strength to beat the crap out of his own teammates.
As kind of the favorites, and now coming into Thunder Talk, we're looking at our next matchup so far Prime versus AL. I am worried about their matchup going up against AL because AL is a team that has been really solid, especially around their carries. So far, look at that team right now. I am worried about their matchup going up against another level. AL is just barely has been really solid, especially around their carries. When you look at that team right now,
tough matchup for Ultra Prime.
Another
Take a look at these damage charts.
Tangyuan, a couple of those games.
A little bit less damage than Zhaozhu. That is pretty tough when you're playing at best and he's playing tough matchup for Ultra Prime. Take a look at these damage charts.
I don't know what to say. My solo
a little bit less damage than Zhaozhu. That is pretty tough when you're playing at best and he's playing Ornn.
I feel bad because again, I was a big Tangyuan hater. I don't know what to say. I thought that this guy from 2025 did not look very good. He's the franchise player for RNG. I feel bad because again, I think he split one performance. I was a big Tangyuan hater in split one. I thought that this guy from 2025 did not look very good. He's the franchise player for RNG. I mean, historically has just not been able to make very deep finishes. Admirable. It was something that we could be really excited for, and I think it was also something we could say for Thunder Talk as a team that finally, I mean, historically has just not been able to make very deep finishes. Gave a lot of hope. They were just those playoff games when you're playing against some of the best in the LPL that and finally to maybe look a little different. Finally being able to see them kind of pull it together and split one. Gave
I like
a lot
the
of hope.
Of,
just those playoff games when you're playing against some of the best in the LPL.
Maybe not the call.
Start to maybe look a little different at Thunder Talk.
Can't really play it that well. Maybe it's like, hey, in that scenario, I like the look. We just leave it up. Hey, we're going to play best of mid. Strong, but maybe not the call. Maybe this has to be a ban out of RNG. Can't really play it that well. Maybe it's like, hey, in that scenario,
I feel like there was,
we just leave it up. I mean, the champion's just so strong. I don't know if there's any
individual champion that was really
I don't know. Maybe this has to be a ban out of RNG.
There's a bit of a I don't know. I feel like there was this is like yesterday's individual champion that was really a game that we got to see from LNG.
Yeah,
like there was LGD. They never really got off to a good enough. Or sorry, LNG versus JDG. This is like yesterday's bot lane never really kind of took the game that we actually were losing against FaZe, and then they never really got off. Fell over the rest. Or sorry, that is kind of the story of all of their games. The bot lane never really kind of took off. They actually
we
got to be thinking about Pog here. Who's our player that kind of just fell over the rest of LNG? That is kind of the story of all of their games, unfortunately. I think it's Beishwan. Beishwan made that entire story. We got to be thinking about Pog was really consistent. I think in team fights he knew mostly what his job had to be, and some of these fights, I think it's Beishwan. Again, like his support, that entire early game there just doesn't really land on very many people. Really consistent. I think in team fights he knew mostly what his job had to be with, and some of these fights that you had in front of you. Again, like his support.
I was thinking like
Feather ultimate there just doesn't really land on very many people. I don't think this
realm warps. I'm with you, but I'd like to give it to Beishwan. He did a lot of the dirty work this game, and hopefully they recognize that he was the GOAT. I mean, he stuffed this engaged in this very last realm warps. I'm with you. That all game. I'd like to give it to Beishwan. He did a lot of the dirty work this game, and hopefully they recognize that.
Let's just hope that the Chinese broadcast is not griefing me with some of these
doing that all game long.
Because we had.
Let's give it to.
Oh, hold up, Brad. Pull that back up. We gotta pull the line back up. Let's just hope that the Chinese broadcast is not griefing
said I gotta roast you
because I need to make sure. Hold up, Brad. Yesterday they gave it to missing for a random ass. I need to see this. I need to see.
No. Bro had a great said I gotta roast you.
I need to make sure because yesterday they gave it to missing for a random ass Nico game for no reason.
He became no. Bro had a great game. Like he actually showed up finally. I will defend that missing vote.
Just like Feather.
So hard. No. It was night and day. He became JDG found.
Honestly,
he actually showed up.
It was given to 1XN for how
I will defend that
most of the game.
So
I think that some of the moments looked pretty. Let's see if it was either. Honestly, I think again, looking forward, we were talking about a little bit before.
Dominated
most of the game. I think that some of the moments it's going to come off the back of their bottom lane being able to. I think again, looking forward, I was talking about a little bit before. If Thunder Talk thought would be saying coming into this year, it's going to come off the back of for RNG. Their bottom lane being able to kind of surprise. It is Beishwan. Okay.
Respect.
Tarzan, which is not
there we go. They are ball knowers.
Into this year.
Great
but
game.
for RNG, they really got to
back to your point of being able to push anyone's legend. I mean, if you play the early game the way they did, I mean, they are ball knowers. Legend is going to give you those opportunities that were given to them by RNG. Back to your point of being able to early game the way you did. Great. If you play the early game the way you did, mid game the way you did, I'm not sure if anyone's legend is going to give you those opportunities that were given to them by RNG.
Yeah,
you play the early game the way you did.
Great, but before we do, we want to say thank you to all of our Coffee and YouTube subscribers that helped level up the show. A lot of the initial payments have gone into trying to we're going to take a small break, but a huge bulk of it is going to say thank you to all of our Coffee and YouTube. So please subscribe to our Coffee, which is going to be the show. A lot of the initial payments have gone into trying to upgrade the broadcast, but a huge bulk of it is going to be on-air talent and our content creators. We are back. We're going to be here with game number 2 of Group B to Ultra Prime for early access to content and the ability to ask interview questions for our
Ultra Prime team that placements. They have Ultra Prime and anyone's legend coming up here in this second game.
I'm kind of looking forward, especially because they have made a swap. Xiaoxia is going to be starting for Ultra Prime. Means unfortunately, Rosie Love is at least going to be taking forward, especially the first couple games have made a stage. But coming over from BLG is going to be starting over there. We are expecting to see. Unfortunately, Rosie Love is at least. I don't know if this support changes all that much. I think Rosie Love was one of the coming over from BLG Junior being a sub over there. We are expecting to see Ultra Prime
have that much.
I don't know if the support
changes
changes
all that much.
I think Ultra
was one of the weaker
struggling so far in
members of this squad,
yeah,
but
the solo
support
lanes
usually can't have that much of an impact, and we'll see what he's able to add.
Not really their strongest showing.
Have been struggling so far.
Known for being a 1v1 extraordinaire. Didn't really get too many opportunities to show it with the lane swaps. Hopefully, not really their strongest showing. A little bit kinder to. Known for being a 1v1
I'm looking
extraordinaire.
Forward to Junhao.
Didn't really get too many opportunities to show it with the lane swaps. Hopefully,
rookies of the split,
be a little bit kinder
top 3 at the very least.
Hopefully.
And he did a
I'm looking
fantastic
forward
job
to
despite
Junhao.
he made it, I think, into our
misgivings that this
rookies
roster had.
of the split. He
again,
was top 3
it's
kind of
it kind of sucks because we're like, hey, this
did a
fantastic job.
Already
have very many things going for them, and then
look at their opponents.
This roster has,
and it doesn't get much easier.
It kind of sucks because we're like,
really
hey,
not
this
that great. Let's take a look at anyone's legends.
And then you look at their opponents
in the making of a
and
team.
It doesn't get much easier.
You know them, you love them. Let's talk about
really
Shanks.
Not that great.
This guy.
Let's take a look at
anyone's legends.
perhaps.
A real good player. In the making of a team.
The way that he was playing from
you know him, you love him.
Damn, I believe it, man.
Let's talk about Shanks.
He was already gapping some people.
Zhao
I think
Jr.
he was
perhaps.
one of the most consistent
real good
players
player.
in the LPL.
With
the way that he was playing from Split 1
and
damn, I believe it,
AL
because they win Demacia Cup.
He was already
gapping some
grand
people.
finals.
I think he was one of the most consistent players in the upper bracket favorites. AL should have been the one to win that series.
AL,
they win
Demacia
Cup.
They rewrite
history.
They send themselves to first stands.
They send themselves
back away from first
upper bracket favorites. Now here, AL
to win that
need to
series,
kind of bounce it off and say, look, we got second. I think that's better than anyone would have expected.
Back away from first stand with their
performance. Now here, AL need to kind of bounce it off and say, look, we got
Tarzan
second.
and
I think that's better than anyone would have expected
to another level.
Alongside
this
roster had accomplished was
Shanks.
They
really already have.
They
just need to get that little bit more.
Tarzan and Flandra really need to be able to bring this
sky's
team
really the limit
to
for this team.
Level,
if they continue to play the way they do, certainly could be. They really already have. They just need to get that a little bit more. Their coach so close. Was interviewed. Sky's really the limit for this team. If they continue to play the way they do, certainly could be glowing a world's representative about Tarzan. The fact that he's the spirit of Coach Tabe was.
Yeah, I want to thank over all the guys on the sack down for being able to grab not only an interview with Tabe, but the fact that we got to kind of hear a little bit about him.
The fact that he's the spirit of the team.
Not only just his journey with AL, but also the guys him as one of the most legendary coaches. Not only an interview with Tabe, but the fact that we got to kind of hear a little bit about him. And just the big quotes for not only just Tarzan AL, but also of him as early on most legendary. Kind of joked about like Flandra coming onto AL, especially like in the heart. He's just so vibrant. Just the big quotes for me is like Tarzan, a very joyful guy of the team. I know early on the fact that Tarzan joked about like Flandra coming onto AL, especially as someone who is heart. I think from an international community perspective, like a pretty very joyful guy. You have all these viewers who don't really typically watch domestic regional play, especially as someone who gets world. I think from an international community, Jesus Christ, what is Tarzan doing? Maligned when we have all these viewers who don't really typically watch domestic.
Are like, hey, internationals only. That's all well and good. Whatever floats your boat.
Jesus Christ, what is Tarzan doing?
What this guy has done domestically. Yeah, you're right. And some people are like, hey, internationals only. That's all well and good as long as I can floats your boat. But you cannot discount what this guy has done domestically. This is going to be a big test for Junhao. One of the best domestic jumpers against Tarzan, as long as I can remember at the very least. This is your time to show, hey, I'm a top jungler in this league. This is going to be a big test for Junhao, like right? As the going up against Tarzan.
It's tough though.
This is your time to show, hey, I'm a top jungler in this league.
Tarzan,
with some of the guys like
you think about the fact that
third place
he didn't even get to play in the first part of spring last year. Junhao, like you're saying, and barring a couple of handful games from a very similar placement, you think about the fact that tournament, he just didn't even get to play in the first part of spring last year. He comes into summer, he was so good, barring a couple of handful games from a very similar placement. He's able to play the 80 he just looked like the best jungler in the entire league, bar none. He was by and far style. He was so good at the farming. While they weren't able to kind of get it over the line, he's able to play the 80 bruisers. He's able to Tarzan again just revolutionizing. He was by and far away able to bring most impressive players. Such a depth of champions, while they weren't able to kind of get it over the line when we talk about the advantage of playing in Tarzan again just revolutionizing. Really use that and also bounce off such a depth of champions, especially because of the advantage of playing. Because like fearless this year.
and the perfect storm,
really use that and also bounce off of ideas for
big
someone
international
like
waves this year.
I love Coach Tabe
because like
how well the rest
this is
anyone's legend
the perfect
is
playing
right for
because of his champion Ocean.
Make big international
Tabe thinks that something is good with Coach Tabe. He's going to pick it.
With how
well
we should pick it. You know what?
Anyone's
that
legend
means that
is
the
playing,
sky is the limit. The doors
because of his champion Ocean.
You could see some crazy stuff.
If Tabe thinks that something is good, he's going to pick it. He's going to say, hey, we should pick it. And you know what? That means that the sky is the limit. The doors wide open. I just like that champion, just on a personal level. But listen, I'm for it. I'd like to see it. I ain't playing the game, so it's cool by me.
We got some unique champions last.
We already had. I just like that champion, just on a personal level. But listen, I'm for it. I'd like to see it. I ain't playing the game, so it's cool by me.
We got some unique champions last split from
kind of excited. Not only jungle at one point,
a bit
on Tarzan, but this entire AL core in that game. You talk about the fact that anyone's legend from the draft, but not really an organization. Kind of excited. Not only has been focusing a bit on Tarzan, but this entire AL core. They bring in. You talk about the fact that anyone's legend and Shanks. Not really an organization that since the rebrand. Then they had brought in Allah and suddenly like. Then they bring in Hope, or they have Hope, Kyle, and Shanks. This core kind of pushed this team a little bit further. Then they brought in Tabe, and then they had brought in Allah have been building over the last 2 years to make a championship roster around the last core of this bottom. Then they brought in Tabe, and it feels like AL have been building over the last 2 years to make a championship roster around the 3 core of this bottom.
These are moves that I'm really big into. Just really good decisions. These are moves that you love coming from teams that are higher top, looking to contend up these players. They make the right moves. These are moves that are willing to do whatever is necessary to. These are moves that you love to see acquire the teams that are looking to contend for championships. They make the right moves. I really hate to use that latitude, but whatever is necessary to. And we just need to see these players acquire the sharpen and refine little parts of their game to make sure that sky's the limit for them. I really hate to use that latitude, but it really is.
Well, according to Tabe, the best move AL made was actually getting their team manager, because their team manager is actually friends with Tabe and is the original top player on the roster.
Yes.
Shout out to the team manager. According to Tabe, the best move AL made was actually getting their team manager, because their team manager is actually friends with Tabe. When we look at the gameplay on the roster, so I think shout out to the team manager. Better than he's already doing more than the GM, I guess. Turns out underdogs in this matchup is the fact that look at the gameplay hasn't really been I think the issue that we are going to see for Ultra Prime from them, because we expect the team as a whole underdogs in this matchup. Some of the laning is the fact that particularly rough hasn't really been on point. I'm seeing Saber, unfortunately, I hate to pick on the guy, but he has been losing so many matchups. I think he goes down like laning phases have been particularly rough for, and it feels like as it is so difficult. Unfortunately, I hate to pick on the guy, but he has been losing so many matchups. He goes down like 20-30 CS against multiple different mid lane champions, and it feels like it is so difficult for Ultra
rough
Prime
sledding. You're
to
going
get
to run
out
into
of the
that
first
sometimes,
team
but I mean, with the champions that you've been
so
playing.
Tragic.
It's been a little difficult for winning these lanes. I mean, rough sledding. You're going to run into that sometimes. Really fun Trinimir game against OMG that you've been playing. Sweet, cool, great, but you really need. You're playing champions like Yone. You need to come up huge. You had that really fun Trinimir game against OMG. Like sweet. Cool,
it sucks
great,
because we really wanted to see Ultra Prime.
Playing champions again, like Yone,
the social media guy's been great.
Come up huge,
and
right?
because Kelsey Moser does sign my paychecks, I do not want to slander. We really wanted to see Ultra Prime as much as possible. Again, she isn't here right now. The guy's been great. So I do get a little bit of because Kelsey Moser does sign my paychecks. I do not want to slander. Who knows if she's watching? If I get a ping in the next, but she isn't here right now. She's used to me slandering Ultra Prime. Maybe it's fine.
Listen, she's in Hawaii. I know she loves the LPL, but like
who knows if she's watching.
Enjoy
if I get a ping in the next 15 minutes,
she's used to slandering Ultra Prime. I know it's Kelsey Moser. Kelsey Moser, she's in Hawaii. I know she loves the LPL. Enjoy Hawaii. Enjoy Hawaii just a little bit. You don't need to be around. I know it's Kelsey Moser. Kelsey Moser is an absolute demon. It's setting up to be not so great. Just as we talked about earlier, I don't really see a conceivable spot. Listen, let's keep it a stack. I think Ultra Prime setting up to be really contend with not so great legend. Outside of the jungle, and even then he's going to need a lot of conceivable spot get ahead and take over the game. I think Ultra
it has
Prime
to be some like
really
tragic
contend with
gameplay
anyone's
going
legend.
on. AL just have to
outside of the jungle,
AL
and even then he's
going to
need a lot of help,
especially if
get
you
ahead
look
and take
at
over
their split one performance.
It has to be
there's
some
a like
really
tragic gameplay
really
going
random
on.
loss.
Now
AL have not been impenetrable.
It was a single
especially
game,
if you look
at their split one performance.
For the reason why, not only in terms of results and just
the resumes when you look at the players on AL versus Ultra Prime, but I think that anything
for the reason why, not only in terms of results
and
just
the fact
resumes,
the fact of the matter is
they made it to grand finals
just under a month ago.
Anything less than first very easily sweep this group is a disappointment. If they lose a game to any one of these teams, the fact of the matter is RNG, they made it to grand finals just under a massive upset. I don't think there's any contest, even if they lose the game, that they're going to lose first. If they lose a game to any one of these fans, RNG, TT, Ultra Prime, we need to be honest with ourselves and make sure that we're holding. I don't think there's any contest, even if they lose the game, that they're going to lose first.
But
I think as a community, as fans, and as part of the
based
broadcast,
on the makeup of
we need to be
anyone's
honest with
legend
ourselves and make sure that we're holding our team somewhat accountable
in the best of one.
Yeah, and that could very easily turn into a red flag.
Essentially, their format,
based on the makeup of anyone's legend,
should, and
maybe
Thundertalk could give them a good game or two,
really strong,
but they should be able to deal with them. This is too much of an issue.
Essentially, their format
should just be a standard 6-0, right? And maybe Thundertalk could give them a good game or two. You're going to have to take a long look at those games and deal with them without too much of an issue. It should just be a standard 6-0, right? And
if we can kind of wrap back onto the format here as we're getting closer to draft. Sorry to everybody at home. We are waiting to see when draft is going to be started. But in a double round robin, best of one here as we're getting closer to draft. Sorry to everybody at home.
You are looking to have
waiting to see when draft is going to be started.
You don't have to worry about champion pools all that much because you don't have to worry about champions
in a double round robin after
best of one
kind of
format.
You
are looking
hoping that AL are going to
you don't have to worry about
some of their
all that
wild and
wacky
ways
about
kind of try to flex on Ultra Prime a little bit.
Yeah, if there's ever a time to
hoping that AL are
like, you know what,
this
could be really solid. Let's go for it.
It's kind of try to flex on Ultra Prime a little bit.
Yeah, asking you shall receive as the walkouts are go with a pick that you're like, you know what, all great job. This could be really solid. Let's go for it. Progressing the broadcast.
I pressed the button. I pressed the button for us to start.
Asking you shall receive. We always say we don't have the button. Come through in just a moment here. All great job by you.
I unfortunately cannot save or fix the
broadcast.
I pressed the button. I pressed the button for us to start. For those who know,
we always say we don't have the button,
but I can try to do what I can. I unfortunately cannot save or fix the LPL Chinese broadcast run of show.
Making sure that our broadcast is the best broadcast.
But I can try to do what I can.
So small fit check here. All right, my goat. I love purple. I think purple's a great color. I need to see something else out of Ultra Prime's uniforms, man. It's just all purple. Small fit check here. All right, some variation. I love purple. I think purple's a great color. I need to see something else out of Ultra Prime's uniforms, man.
I love the royal
it's just all purple.
Too. I'm just really sad because
variation.
I know
somewhere
when we brought you and Slayer on, one of the big things that we kind of like joked about was the walkouts, and then grand finals happened, and we actually had Flandra.
I'm just really sad because
in his walkout when we brought you and Slayer on, one of the big things that we kind of like joked about was the walkouts. We get a little bit more, and then grand finals happened, and we actually had Flandra. For now, we're getting the personality in his walkout.
Yeah, I feel like once we get
Slayer wasn't there,
actual split two,
I'm hoping we get a little bit more
of placements when
the full teams
are super comfortable about where they're at. Perhaps it's I feel like once we get to more personality actual but over on the side of anyone's legend, just take placements when they appear to be all smiles, man. They are comfortable about where they're at. Perhaps it's when we'll loose gaming, like it's a flex shine through. But over on the side of anyone's legend, just taking a look, they appear to be all smiles, man. They are ready to go and just. Loose gaming, like it's a
big things to note. Small wins for Ultra Prime. Wenjiang was one of the most solo killingest players when we talked about him coming into the split.
Big things to note.
Hopefully, he's able to continue some of that dominance in the laning phase. Wenjiang was one of the most solo killingest players when we talked about him coming into the split early on. Hopefully, he's able to continue some of that dominance in the laning phase. Because
as someone who was one of the better performing members,
I think he's a lot on his shoulders.
have been struggling very early on
across the finish line.
How are they going to leverage?
Okay, cool. I finished my first clear.
As someone who
was one of the better performers.
My lanes are losing.
I think he's a lot on his shoulders. I'm immediate damage control across the finish line.
And as a jungler,
is that
okay, cool. They've put him
finished my first clear. I
some of these more aggressive playmakers.
My lanes are losing. Crap, what do I do now?
One game of Sejuani throughout the first split. So the team knows where the bread is buttered. They've put him on that they're going to some of these more go away from that. Yeah, it wasn't overly successful. One game of Sejuani, you know what? Throughout the first split. We know that this guy the team knows where the bread is buttered. Can't imagine that they're going to really walking go away from that. Yeah, it wasn't overly successful. Actually make plays. He's never going to be like, you know what? We know that this guy is he's a.
Let's see what happens. We've got draft on our screens here for the second game of
actually make plays. He's never going to be the reason.
Something already changing up a little bit. That Poppy and Renekton.
Let's see what happens. We've got draft on our screens here for the second game of Jace, Skarner, and Rumble.
Something already changing up a little bit. That Poppy and Renekton band is saying that Ultra Prime do want to grab themselves the Ambessa.
I'm ready for it. Let's see if
Jace, Skarner, and Rumble, the expected ones.
I mean,
Flandra's been someone to cook.
Are we going to see Ambessa and the Gwen?
That has been something we're starting
I'm ready
to see.
for it. Let's see if Jiang is ready for it. Right?
AD variety.
I mean,
very important. Flandra's been someone to cook. It's
with the Yone lock-in, always
that has been
follows
we're starting to
with
see.
the Sejuani.
Junglers, especially
for Tarzan as
AD
well.
variety.
The ball's an ultra prime sport because you really want to give over the Yone lock-in. Always follows with the Sejuani and Ambessa of a Yone. Tarzan as well. Akali, the ball's an ultra prime sport. Good answer into Yone. Really want to give over a different players take that Saber duo. If they want to put the ball in his hands, he's going to have to come up big. Yone.
Okay, so already the makings of a dive competition here from Ultra Prime with this
different players take that Saber.
AL, though,
if they want to put the ball in his hands, he's going to have to come up big.
Easier for their opponents. I mean, you're looking at already the makings of a dive competition here. This duo is already very potent early on, and AL, as the game goes the game does not get any easier will have the ability to kind of looking at a side lane, have Tarzan shadow him. This duo is already very potent early on, and as the game goes on, are going to be able to pick themselves up. Shanks will have the ability to kind of sit. There's the Gwen that we were expecting, something that the LPL has really embraced coming out of day 2.
LPL Gwen, baby, let's go.
Themselves up the Ambessa on 3.
Yeah. I got my pair of scissors here too. Like we're so ready, man. You know,
really embraced coming out of day 2.
Falling off. LPL Gwen, baby, let's go.
There we go.
Nothing too surprising. I got my pair of scissors here too. Like we're so ready, man. For that matter. Now we get to talk about some champions that be really good into these compositions. I'd like to think that Braum could put in a lot of work coming off from anyone's legend or Ultra Prime for that matter. Now we get to talk about some champions that are really good into these compositions. I'd like to think that Braum could put in a lot of work against these melee carries.
There's a potential to start looking towards no Kalista like ban on either side. Ashe still up and available for, but Israel has been when I'm looking at champion that carries, there's a so much extra value. Start looking towards mobility that has been added to some of the solo lanes, like the Yone, Ashe still up and available. Israel has been unfortunately a champion that has so much extra value with I think the mobility that has been added to some of the solo lanes, like the Yone, like the Ambessa. So
wonder if they'll just go with a second
see what Ale are going to be able to grab for themselves.
I mentioned the Braum earlier, but there's lots of really good supports that see what this last could deal with these melee champions. Karma going to be the one toward the bottom taken off the board, so they'll just go with a second support ban here. Mentioned the Braum earlier, but there's lots of really good supports.
The Nico seems like it was very targeted towards
champions. Karma going to be the one taken off the board, so
maybe we're trying to focus away from like a Karma. I mean, you have so many melees. Karma does actually end up adding a lot. Yeah, the Karma seems like Ashe still up and available. Focus away from like Alistar. So I mean, you have so many melees. Gain a lot of value. Leona as well, something that is available. Ashe still up and available. We'll see. It's going to be the Renata. They're giving Alistar so over to Hope. Rakan starts to gain a lot of value. Leona as well, something that
impact
is
against the
available to
triple
both
melees
teams.
Of Ultra Prime. The question is, what is going to be your answer? If you're Ultra Prime, this Renata champion certainly will make very well an impact against the Renata melees. Could always go with your roaming question support. Is what is going to be your answer? Stand on their own like the Ziggs. Hook champions could do very well at instantly blowing up Renata.
Yeah, I like go with Ziggs Leona support, especially when you see on the opposite side. We know we were talking about Ultra Prime having a lot of melees. Now with this dive composition, the Ziggs is going to be poking away at the opponents, and as soon as they're able to find an angle, you're setting up. On the opposite side, we know we were talking about Ultra Prime having a lot of melees. From Ultra Prime, now with this dive composition, is going to be able to stay safe. I'm expecting this to be a Zaya. As soon as they're able to find an angle, you're setting up for this Ambessa, for this Vi and Akali. And from Ultra Prime,
what Zaya would obviously give a lot of able to stay safe. I'm expecting this to be a Zaya, but the lane matchup versus something like a Ziggs is not all that great. The Zaya would obviously give a lot of dodge out to hope to be able to survive or invite some of the chaos that Ultra Prime want. But
yeah, I think Varus for the disruption of the chain of corruption
carries that
on to these big divers. You just hope that
Ash or
hey,
Varus
we're going to go all in on hope. Great.
Option.
Here's a chain of corruption.
Yeah,
you're now
Varus
all rooted under the turret,
the chain of corruption,
and the rest of my team can on to these big divers.
Something that Ultra Prime will need to be cognizant of.
But we're going to go all in on hope.
Shouldn't have too hard of a time
of corruption. You're now all rooted under the turret.
Yeah, and they're going to have a composition that does very well as the game
will need to be cognizant of. But as you mentioned, shouldn't have too hard of a time. At least killing hope.
Which they can actually start a fight. Yeah, and they're going to have a composition that does very well as the disadvantage. They're going to be very much reliant on this mid jungle and Tarzan and times in which they can actually start a fight is going to be difficult. So at any moment where they find themselves at a disadvantage, because Gwen and Yone are very much so annoying on this mid jungle and Tarzan and Shanks. So we need to see them take control early. We need to see how they're able to leverage these side lanes, because Gwen and Yone are so annoying to deal with.
Grab some of these grubs, if they take advantage of grubs, get at least 4. These side laners are just going to be going side lanes. We want to crazy. Anyone's legend go and really like from grab some of these grubs, if they take advantage of grubs, get at least 4. These side laners very much like the idea of pairing it with crazy. One adaptation I really like from trying to dive with Gwen's early advantage into Gwen was pairing it with Vise instead of actually very much like the idea of pairing it with a make the dive a little bit more stable. So that's something trying to dive with Gwen's early pays off with Vise instead of champions like Sejuani. Why are we not doing this? Can make the dive a little bit more stable.
And for Ultra Prime, I think that
really hoping
this draft does give them some options to play. I like that we are seeing the tools available for them, but my worry is that and for Ultra Prime, I think that one-dimensional. It has this draft does give them some options to play. I like that we isn't able to succeed in very many ways after that. My worry is that it is too one-dimensional. It has one way of kind of operating. It's
a little bit different when it's not in a best of 5. So, not as crazy exciting, but always happy to see the turnout here, especially for a team. It's a little bit different when it's not in a best of 5. You mentioned that we're looking for anyone's legend not as crazy exciting, but always happy to see the turnout here, especially for the rookie coming in legend now through, and we mentioned that we're looking for anyone's Saber in the mid lane and get these early grubs. It's going to be up to Zhaozha, the
early lanes here again for people who are maybe unfamiliar with the Gwen versus Mbessa. Gwen is really strong in the early game and is one of the few champions early lanes that actually here can again match for people who are maybe unfamiliar with the Gwen versus Mbessa does have a much Gwen is really strong in the early game and is one of the few champions that actually can match like a monster, I think. Across the game for this bottom lane, it is so reliant on who lands poke. Hope actually going for the Halo Blades, but I think in a matchup where you get outranged in this manner and you want longer skirmishes, for this bottom lane, it is so reliant on when you are playing up against Hope actually going for the Halo Blades. I think in a matchup where you get outranged in this manner and you want longer skirmishes, I can understand that.
Perhaps Hope is just
when you are playing up against something like the Ziggs, being able to just land an ability first and get that arcane comment proc is so meaningful.
Him is you trade 1 for 1 later on in the game and deciding later on, hey, I want to get out as much damage as I can when they get on me before I die. Waco just looking to maybe the hope for him on this Ziggs, trade 1 for 1 Zhaozha out of the lane, get him running. That Hail of Blades will help out.
And both junglers are popping up towards the top side of the map, so we've seen a lot of tension on the Ziggs.
Get Zhaozha out of the lane, get him.
He's a champion that again, while she can have some prowess, and both junglers are popping up towards the top side of the map. So we've seen a lot of tension from teams. Her mana costs thrown up very high early on. He's a champion that again, while she going to be can have some prowess, you has some hidden synergy, or I guess some additional synergy, thanks to especially because some of her mana costs are so very high early on. So what AL and what Tarzan and Flandre are going to do has some hidden synergy, or I guess some additional synergy, thanks to being melee champion.
Is going to have to be up there for an early cover. You see Flandre already
what
shoving
AL
in.
And
hasn't really gotten too much damage on Zhang yet, but it's just a matter of time. Junhao is going to have to be up there for an early cover. You see Flandre already shoving in. Hasn't really gotten too much damage on Zhang yet.
Starting to pair up here for AL. Okay.
Shove in means that you get a little bit more in, and it's prime dive time. All right. Now it's not too bad. Zhaozha doing his thing
here for AL.
Being taken a little bit lower.
The cleanse out of
Tarzan hanging around Junhao hanging around in these top quadrants. All right. Saber gets a level up on Shanks here and takes him very low. Getting taken a little bit lower.
The electrocute was not something that we got to see earlier of last split thanks to the electrocute changes coming in.
Saber gets a level up on Shanks here.
Tarzan can do something mid here. Shanks, one more auto, has to flash out, and now Tarzan was not something that we got to see earlier of last split thanks to the electrocute changes coming in pretty recently. Seeing if Tarzan could do something mid here. Shanks, one more auto, has to flash out, and now Tarzan's abandoned.
Saber might be able to move over to help out Junhao.
I think it's so risky. I think this is mostly just, hey, I'm here to cover for my mid. I'm making sure that they can't have a lot of HP. Now, but I like this from our supports on the side of Ultra Prime. I think it's so risky. We're getting the teleport. They want to fight. Hey, I'm here to cover for my mid. I'm making sure that they can't contest.
Dash out of there.
I like this from our supports on the side of Ultra Prime, moving and protecting. We're getting the teleport. They want to fight for this grub.
Yeah, Tarzan's
I like how aggressive they were playing, and some good early vision now coming in from Ultra Prime. We'll see what this actually turns into and what are the effects of such play. I like how aggressive they were playing, and some good early vision now coming in from Ultra Prime. Rolling in this manner. We'll see what this actually turns into and what are the effects of such early grubs. They're going to be in a good spot. We do need contest the AL in their first game of the rolling in this manner.
Yeah, they're really going to need to leverage the fact that Shanks is down a flash.
They're going to be
it's going to be a little bit harder for him to move. Going to be a target that's a little easier to kill. Everybody knows that Yone is a little bit difficult to kill. The fact that Shanks gets the snap back, take reduced damage. It's going to be a little bit harder for him to move. Going to be a target that's a little easier to kill. Everybody knows that Yone is a little bit difficult to kill. You focus him down, snap back, take reduced damage. Saber rolling. It's going to luckily lose the CC immunity already he's going to have on snapback
despite
soon,
some of the early
yet.
Game woes. Tarzan is
you focus him down.
Advantage. It's going to be an early dragon started here by the side of UP, and does get spotted by that ward, but Junhao just wants to try to make sure that Tarzan bottom lane having early push. It's a wave that AL dragon started here up during by the side of UP. Hope and Kyle does get spotted by that ward, but Junhao just wants to try to make sure that
okay. Junhao secured it, but it had 3 HP left. He will flash and he'll get over.
Kyle need to kind of get out of this situation. I mean, that's fine, but this is still an advantage here.
Okay. Junhao secured it, but it had 3 HP left. He will flash and he'll get over.
Yes, it was the flash from Junhao, but I mean that's fine. But this is still an advantage here for UP. I like the way that they're playing. Level 6 is despite AL contesting, they got very little for that. Yes, it was the flash from Junhao, but that's another wave being missed by Hope and Kyle. So going to be, I think level 6 is very, very key for this bot lane matchup for both sides. So being able to
move around so much
faster.
6 Leona does have some kill threat. Is Saber going to try to put down some kill threat? Fate sealed, just going to get Shanks out of there. Very good point.
Doesn't want to try to risk anything under the turret
so much, but
Shanks is
6 Leona does have some kill threat. Is Saber going to try to put down some kill threat?
The wave is going to eventually push on over to him, but he's going to miss out. Doesn't want to try to risk anything under the turret. Tarzan Shanks is under so much duress early on here matchup now, and so far is going to eventually push on up against AL. Miss out on this cannon, which definitely at least Saber Tarzan is taking a very good job on here to keep Shanks. And so far, Ultra Prime are matching up against AL.
Allowed Tarzan to
at least
pay any
Saber
attention to this top side, right? So
very good job.
While Flandre is getting his lane advantage
under wraps.
They haven't actually been able to. Pretty great. They haven't allowed Tarzan to top lane because pay any attention to this top side, right? So. While Flandre is getting his lane advantage,
what now
they haven't actually been able to
expect from Ultra Prime
dive this Ambessa in the top lane
either a dragon or the grubs. Once Junhao hits level 6, I do want to see whether or not they're going to be able to hopefully expect from Ultra Prime is around the mid lane or in the bottom lane. Shanks is going to be able to get his recall. Once Junhao hits level 6, I do want to see whether or not they're going to be able to execute a great time for them to be able to punish Hope around the mid lane playing with the or in the bottom lane. Shanks is going to be able to get his recall in now, but with the bottom lane just not coming back, this would be a great time for them to be able to punish Hope with playing with the Ziggs, playing with this vibe.
Could just become yours. Without a doubt, Junhao going to need your advantages there. Be the one to get the ball rolling. A little bit of Tarzan's the one to a little bit of momentum, set the pace, drop an ultimate gank somewhere. The objectives could just become yours. Result in a snowball. Junhao going to need to, as you said, be the one to go first. Tarzan's the one to set the pace, drop an ultimate, gank somewhere.
Go towards mid. They know that Shanks' snowball is not quite up, and they'd already used the teleport.
Can't come back.
If they can make this play, it's going to be a round saber, getting the perfect execution in 3 seconds. Go towards mid. They know that Shanks' flash is not quite up, and that much action out of all of this. If they can make this play, it's going to be a round saber, getting the perfect execution in 3 seconds. He's on himself the Hex Drinker early on. Feels good. Seems like we're getting that much action out of all of this.
All I have to say, if they decide to be quiet for these next 2 minutes,
now that he's
Ultra Prime isn't going to make a move on.
Feels good.
I believe this favors because not too bad. If you're going to give anyone's legend, say if they decide to be quiet for these next 2 minutes, Waco is the one who gets caught. He's alone and he will fall all alone. If you're going to give anyone's legend these time for
that is a max range Chains of Corruption coming out.
Waco is the one who gets caught. He's alone and he will fall all alone. Hope
timer.
That is a max range Chains of Corruption coming out.
Try to make
Tarzan,
a play in minutes time.
Tarzan mid, but finding that kill is so important.
He's got to try to find a way out, flash over the wall. Shanks able to help him out a little bit. Here comes Kyle as well.
I think they want to try to make a play in minutes time.
Tarzan and the jungler, they're trying to make the play on the Tarzan. He's got to try to find a way out, flash over the wall. Shanks able to help him out a little bit. Here comes Kyle.
Good job from Junhao and the rest of Ultra Prime.
Is able to slide out, and the jungler for
they go and grab most of the Raptors. Trade out some summoner spells. Not only are they getting vision perfectly fine, but they're also taking away some of the rest of Ultra Prime. Really good open respawn chickens. They go and grab most of the Raptors despite their bottom lane going down. Not only are they getting vision onto Tarzan, but they're also taking away some of these resources. Really good open
getting an extra ward down
for the side of
takes his back.
Despite their bottom lane
pings
going
up
down.
near the top side. A big thing for Ultra Prime there is they were able to get down a lot of vision on these top side. We talked about how getting an extra ward down before he takes his back.
Maybe they're going to try and make a double lane play
top
here
side
with
here. Anyone's legend 60 seconds to the next grub
spawn. You have their ultimates and the ability to teleport for this play, but you already see Ultra Prime are behind on this. It's going to be the wave that is just now crashing onto that top tier one. AL are retreating to their side of the jungle, but you already see they can properly contest the mid lane brush, and that entrance wave that is just now crashing onto that top tier one. AL are retreating to their side of the jungle, so they can properly contest the mid lane brush and that entrance into the river.
Saw on the bot lane a couple of moments ago, Flandre getting his first plate down there. He had Waco and Xiaojia not too scary yet. Having a pretty good time himself, just not disruptive. Saw on the bot lane a couple moments ago. You're pretty okay with the way the game's first plate down there. He had one up top as well.
I think for right now, AL are going to be playing on this side of the map. They just saw Saber TP for that wave that we were just talking about. So make sure that we're not only reinforcing Flandre, giving him resources. For right now, AL are going to be playing on this side of the map. They just saw Saber how easy it is for that wave that we were just talking about. So make sure that we're not only reinforcing Flandre, giving him resources. We're just going to try and leverage this with our duo sitting in the game, but and how easy it is.
This should have been their moment as Ultra Prime. We have the ward on the dragon. Why are we not just starting up?
We're just going to try and leverage the second set of grubs here. Second drink of the game, but pretty big mistake and something that
this should have been their moment.
They still have Ultra Prime
for them. Have the ward on the dragon,
and now with the
why are we not just starting
items to boot? I mean, this is a completed Riftmaker here. I feel like it's a pretty big mistake and something that
for this
now
Ultra Prime
they still have ultimates up for them.
Pretty tough.
And now with the redeploy, they'll have items to boot.
I mean, this legend really only needs to take one of these grubs for it to be worthwhile for them now.
Ultra Prime
has started them up
in a pretty tough spot to try to contest.
He is on vision, so anyone's legend really only needs to take one of Waco, and they're going to layer all the CC. He's got nowhere to go, and Hope will get his second kill, and we'll move it on up. 2 grubs left standing. Junhao's not going to be looking Waco, and they're going to layer all the CC. He's got nowhere to go, and Hope will get his second kill.
And now with that, it's going to be 5 grubs left standing over to AL.
Junhao's not going to be able to
already
clear these out.
Tough time playing this game.
Quickly realized, oh my God, everybody's here. Get me the heck out.
80 carry and Waco. And now with that,
just having 5 grubs going. The first one, look, I was willing to excuse
already having a tough time playing this game.
Shanks,
Ultra Prime's bottom laner, this 80 carry and Waco
is just having such a tough time. The first one, look, I was willing to excuse because that's basically max range. Shanks.
They were hoping they were trying to make a play and get something for this. It's just the ultimate here from Shanks.
Not quite landing, and Shanks will be able to.
Again, I don't think we
and that's tough
because
they were hoping they were trying to make a play this game does go longer for this, which one of these teams are we expecting from Shanks kind of favor? I think with a team that has a Yone, I don't think you were asking before we got into one of these fights if this game does go longer compared to what which one of these teams are we expecting this to so one-dimensional. And I think with a team that has a Yone from underneath some of this damage profile, yes, you still have Saber to kind of add to that, but compared to what if you have the Ziggs gone, there again, you are so reliant on this dive working. You are cutting out the legs from underneath some of this damage, and you still have to be able to play against Saber stuff like kind of add to that. Renata, right? If you have the Ziggs gone, you are so reliant on this dive working, and so far AL have not given you the space, and you still have to be able to play against
is running it toward the side of the map. That's not his,
right?
And Junhao, yeah, Saber can't kill anybody.
All right, how much damage can they get on this top lane turret? Got 45 seconds before the
is running it toward the side of the map.
AL are in position. Waco does have the ult if he wants to clear the minion wave. All right, how much damage can they get on this top lane turret? 45 seconds before
and the ultimate comes through, and once Young is split from the rest of his team.
Does have
tanking here, with a lot of damage coming from Waco, and one Young Tail is bleeding out, and he will go down. Flandra's got a flash forward, is split from the rest of his team. The tanking here, but a lot of damage coming from Waco, and one Young Tail is bleeding out, and he will go down. Flandra's got a flash looking to find the last kill onto Flandre, and he will. Hope 3 kills for the jungler of Ultra Prime. Waco is
starts off 3-0, has the completed Sundered Sky, and that was incredibly messy from AL.
And he will.
That they have a Ziggs.
3 kills for the jungler of Ultra Prime.
And they had a vision. Starts off 3-0, has the completed Sundered Sky, and that was incredibly messy from AL. You know that they have incredibly difficult. I think that one Young and they had a vision that very, very well, and it ends up into you have to be expecting with the Ziggs ultimate they can always clear the wave. The dive was incredibly difficult. I think that one Young and Xiaoxia played that very, very well, and it ends up into a pretty good advantageous state here for Ultra
He's the
Prime.
one tanking it up. As it turns out, Anyone's Legend just didn't have the damage to be able to
the Gwen ultimate doesn't quite land. A lot of skill shots actually end up missing here from Hope. And Wenjong's like, oh, cool. That means I can just utilize my public execution. I can Gwen ultimate doesn't quite land. A lot of skill shots actually end up missing here from Hope. And this entire time, by the way, oh cool, that means I can just utilize my public execution. I can get all of the Drake count steps. It's a great flash to again stall this play out. Ultra Prime able to punish this entire time, by the way, eagerness coming in the top lane. There's Rosie Love hanging out in the back rooms with the coaching staff. Shanks just a little bit ago, so Ultra Prime able to punish on some of the over-eagerness coming in from AL. He's like, bro, I could have done that on my
yeah, I would have gotten all the kills. That's not a good thing. But 15 minutes into this game, Been a 600 gold lead for Ultra Prime.
He's like, bro, I could have done that on my own.
Yeah, I would have gotten all the kills. And now, Anyone's Legend, they're going to have to really rely on the strength of these solo lanes. Been a 600 gold lead, get them back in the game and get this gold. They looked pretty listless early on.
One thing I will say is that play felt more like AL making a bunch of mistakes than it was Ultra Prime really creating a situation that was unplayable for anyone's Legend. One thing I will say is that play felt more like AL making a bunch of mistakes than it was Ultra Prime really one of these dragons. It does delay some of the scaling that we were kind of expecting, or some goal look at the map, the fact that AL they weren't able to get all of the grubs. It's 5 grubs to 1. They weren't able to secure both of the early dragons. Some of the scaling that we were kind of expecting, or some another 5 minutes. We've got the Herald. They weren't able to get all of the grubs. It's 5 grubs to 1. They weren't able to Ultra Prime are immediately on this, and they're starting this up. Any soul win condition is going to be delayed by another 5 minutes. Kind of, we've got the Herald spawning here now. I think AL are in a very good spot. I think this is pretty tough. Ultra Prime are immediately on this, and they're starting this up. Flandre does have teleport if they want to, because he's got a little bit of contest, but I don't think AL are in a very good spot to
no contest here. The Herald will go over to Ultra Prime. And now it's time for Junhao to spread this lead around to his solo laners. Make sure that they're able to stack up against the contest here. The Herald will go over to Ultra Prime. And now it's time for Junhao to spread this lead around to his solo laners. Make sure that they're able to stack up against the powerful
They already got the one in bottom lane.
lane.
It'll be a top tier one as well. Here on Shanks. We talked about some of the side laning threats of this AL composition. While Shanks has kind of gone a lot of falling for them. They already got the one in bottom lane. It'll be a top tier one as well. To pick up a lot of talk about some of the side laning threats of this AL composition. While Shanks has kind of gotten a lot of focus and may not be able to smash this accolade. Flandre is starting to pick up a lot of steam here. Aside from my hate for this,
He's in a pretty good spot. If you can get those Nashor's Tooth second, then it's the I think AL are in a pretty decent spot. They need to rework this item already. But aside from my
pretty much Gwen Thanos moment.
He's in a pretty good spot. If you can get those Nashor's Tooth second, then I think AL are in a
here. Shelly got hands shook away. It was love that, but it's pretty much Gwen Thanos moment there. When you get to those two items, used in the mid lane here. Shelly got hands shook away. It was love that. We'll get the crash off anyway, taking the turret down to about half HP, giving Ultra Prime
that mid tier one not falling isn't great, but I think setting up for now it's the river. But you see that AR are able to take is on your team, get more points in their satchel charge, and suddenly that mid tier one not falling isn't great, but I think setting up two items here for Waco. Someone that on your team had a lot of pressure thrown his way has been kind of the focus for AL, but right now two items already. Two items here for pretty good. Honestly, if I'm Ziggs in this moment, had a lot of pressure thrown. Wow, my more expensive mage items are kind of trumping, but right now not even two items, not even 1.5 completed items here. Pretty good. Honestly, if I'm Ziggs in this moment, I'm saying, wow, my more expensive mage items are kind of trumping.
Take all of the aggro from anyone's legend on that bottom fight. It was about as easy as it gets for you in fights like those. You throw your Mega Inferno Bomb from miles away. Take all of the aggro from anyone's legend on that bottom fight. It was having a great time. About as easy as it gets for you in fights like those. You throw your Mega Inferno Bomb from miles away. You throw your bombs from early. He's going to be able to do this all game. You're just having a great time.
Imagining that he's going to have a
anyone's legend continues to not focus down Waco and get rid of him early. He's going to be able to do this all game.
Back line. Imagining that he's going to have that we're kind of the way that we're framing this because while Shanks has been item, which is going to make it early target here for AL to get into his back line, he has a large burden. It sucks that we're kind of the way that we're framing this because from the draft. While Shanks has been, I think, a pretty barring this single game, Shanks has been he has a large burden and also one of the most ability to actually start performing. Talked about it from the draft his team and from split one. So barring this single down a peg, Shanks has been one of the most consistent members and also one of the most has a lot of experience under his belt for his team from split one. So to see him already taking down a peg, I want to see how he'll be able to bounce back.
Tarzan goes in, you get a good follow up.
Has a lot of experience.
Kyle's there. You got a stew going, baby, with the hostile take is one fight off. One phone on the jungle. Zhao's got to burn his ultimate. Oh my God! Tarzan goes in, you get a good follow up. Hope just evaporates. All hope is lost, and Kyle is the next target too. Zhao is there. Teleport coming through. Kyle will bleed out. Saber in there. Hope just evaporates. All hope is lost, and Kyle is the next target too. Zhao is there. Teleport coming through. Kyle will bleed out. Saber in there. Flandra TP's in and gets the heck out, but Saber's going to make a play, and everybody is showing up for Ultra Prime.
It turns into a kill. The plot armor is looking the bottom laners here. Maybe they can chase for a little bit more. There's a dragon spawning. They tried to make a play, tried to stop Xiaoxia, and it turns into a kill onto how much the bottom laners get from this. Maybe they can chase for a little bit more. They lose priority. There's a dragon spawning in a minute and a half.
They have Otacon on their side of the map, elected not to go for it as it had just spawned.
How much can they actually get from this? Spend their riches from that fight. They lose priority on this mid-wave.
Open up the gold lead a little bit more. They have Otacon on their side of the map, elected not to go for it as it had just spawned in a minute. Weren't able to spend their riches from that fight for anyone's legend. They'll take what you can get. Ultra Prime's not going to give that up. So much pressure. 2,000 here, but you mentioned that dragon.
I want to see how AL kind of bounce back from this one because this is not an early game that we were expecting coming in from Ultra Prime. These are the underdogs up against our split one grand finalists. I want to see how AL kind of bounce back from this one because this is not an early game that we were expecting coming in from Ultra Prime. They tried to make something happen. This starts again, like I was saying, split one grand finalists. Hope to get satchel bombed into some of the. Oh my God. Here in this game, I mean, they tried to make something happen. Oh, it's double snowballs! It's double snowballs at the same time. Okay, that's really cool. But it's so many of these spell shots. Oh my God. Skill shots landing onto Hope. Oh, it's double snowballs! It's double snowballs at the same time. Okay, that's really cool. But yeah, it's so many of these spell shots. And Flandra have been farming the side lane against each other. And now, this doesn't get much easier for AL. If Tarzan and Shanks can't find engage, then Ultra Prime are feeling more than happy to have been farming and going to dive onto you and provide just enough damage for AL. If Tarzan and Shanks can't find the engage, then
has to be snappy because if you allow Waco to just sit there, he's just going to kill you. Now Zhao
just enough damage for our Zeeks to take you down.
Thought for a moment there that anyone's Legends engage has to be snappy, because if you allow Waco to just sit there, he's just going to kill you. Now Xiaoxia die like that again to Waco, walk away. That's a very scary Ziggs. He just took down the mid-turn as well.
He does so much damage here, and Ultra Prime trying to
die like that again to Waco, but
can we start out
a very scary Ziggs who just took down the mid-turn as well.
Doesn't have flash.
He does so much damage here, and Ultra Prime trying to find the delicate balance. What we were seeing from our two mid laners here. Shanks and Saber fighting off in the other side lane, seeing who can teleport first.
Tarzan is going to try and make
the snap. Full engage out. Zhao is the only one hit by the hostile takeover, but he is getting snipped away. You might be as strong as a rock, but no scissors are made of steel.
Who can teleport first?
Anyone's Legend go. Full engage out. Zhao is the only one hit by the hostile takeover, but he is getting snipped away. You might be as strong as a rock, but no scissors are made of steel.
They've already lost one member.
Anyone's Tarzan going to be the target. He's taking below half HP.
Saber teleported for this.
Oh, the crit all around. Chains of corruption catches Junhao. Waco dealing as much damage
already
as he
lost
can,
one member.
But it's not enough. Tarzan going to be the target. He's taking below half HP. Teleport.
This will put them on.
Oh, the crit all around. Chains of corruption catches Junhao. Waco dealing as much damage as he can, but it's not enough. They'll start the dragon.
This will put them on Soul Point, and Ultra Prime make a few too many errors around this bottom side objective. A good job from AL to bounce back.
Some of the recalls, are they willing to kind of risk it for an Otacon?
Flandra is now 4-1, by the way.
Catch their waves,
so many champions that are able to enable him this game. That is where we're going to see anyone's Legend. Flandra is now 4-1, by the way. As so many champions that are able to enable him this game. That is where we're going to see anyone's Legend potentially turn this game around.
No one from Ultra Prime feel willing to kind of go in. I think maybe they were waiting for Saber to teleport, but by that point, I think that he doesn't have the Q, too late coming in. Cooldown, and it starts off from Ultra Prime feel willing to kind of go in.
Oh, Kyle's dead?
What the heck is going on? Saber goes all the way in. He trades 1 for 1. And anyone's Legend looking for more. Flandra looking to go crazy. Xiaoxia gets stunned up.
Oh, Kyle's dead?
What the heck is going on? Targeted out. In the middle of the fight is one Jiang. He's got to do what he can, but he's got to flash out of the fight. Xiaoxia ends up crazy. Xiaoxia gets stunned up, and he's got to run away. Shanks off to the side. Targeted out. In the middle of the fight is one Jiang. He's got to do what he can, but he's got to flash out of the fight.
No one is focusing Glenn, and we talked about how difficult Glenn was going to be for Ultra Prime to deal with. How much damage can Wako get with this? You'll have his auto attacks. No one is focusing Glenn, and we talked about how difficult Glenn was going to be for Ultra Prime to deal with. How much damage can Wako get with this? You'll have his auto attacks as well with the Satchel Charge. A lot of blood roses as well. Go for a little bit more. You know that Jinx isn't Saber. The only person that can match the pick is Kyle. A ruinous Otacon going over to the side of anyone's Legend. A lot of blood roses as well. Already, this starts with Saber finding not only your position, but Xiaoxia. I just don't think it's worth it though.
Yeah,
look at how much of a
showing on that wave.
It's not so
already good. I like what Shanks did there, although it looked a little ugly.
Not only
Waco
your
was kept
position,
completely
but
out of the fight.
And
right? He's able to get this one bouncing bomb showing on that wave. He's gonna walk away. It's not so good. I like what Shanks did there, although it looked a little ugly. Waco was kept completely out of the fight, right? He's able to get this one bouncing bomb in, and that's it. He's got to walk away.
AL are starting to pick up steam.
Just
in a
was
game
not
where
worth it here. It looked a bit difficult for the first 15 minutes. Overzealous. The gold lead has almost completely collapsed. Waco's still not opting for the Seeker's Arm Guard. I think that
steam in a game
you are dealing with double AD
threats.
It looked a bit difficult
for
someone like 15 minutes. Tarzan, they're going to have to deal damage with.
Now, I think that
Waco's still not opting for the Seeker's Arm Guard. I think that
as we've seen,
you are dealing with double AD threats. They're coming into Baron fights, coming into Dragons. I mean, now we're at Soul Point here for AL. 2.5 minutes without Azonias. Ultra Prime are going to have to rock up and fight as otherwise they lose the game. So coming into Baron fights, coming into Dragons. I mean, now we're at Soul Point here for AL. 2.5 minutes time. Ultra Prime are going to have to rock up and fight them. Otherwise they lose the game.
And anyone's Legend were able to, without that, build a lead off of that. We saw in a bit of an even state in the game. I have to say, I'll give a lot of credit to Ultra Prime regardless of how this game goes. Anyone's Legend, the team that is expected to make it first out of this group easily. We thought, hey, maybe they'll pull out something creative. It's not really that creative in my opinion, how this game goes. Anyone's Legend straight up like this is to make it first out of this group easily. Saber gets spotted out. Maybe they'll pull out something creative. It's not really that creative in my opinion. The fact that Ultra Prime back him up, Saber straight up like this has been stuns are out, but Saber gets knocked up and caught. and he falls on the side lane. 3v1. Shanks is going after him.
Does this mean they're going to start up the Baron?
Back him up. Saber's going to get slowed. Stuns are out, but Saber gets knocked up and caught, and he falls on the side lane.
It's going to be a numbers advantage here for anyone's legend. Anytime looking for a teleport, he gets his level 16, which is huge. Can we get a Baron?
Yeah, the teleport's a little far away, though. Waco is still able to free hit Baron down to about 3,000 HP.
For anyone's legend.
The fight is the Vi. Zhao
He gets his level 16, which is
able to walk out as the Baron. Teleport's a little far away, though. Waco is still able to free hit Baron down to about 3,000 HP.
I think AR are going to be happy with the fact that they're able to trade some of the summoner spells away from Ultra Prime without the Sejuani ult, without the and a good delay. I think AR are going to be happy with the fact that they're able to trade some of the summoner spells away from Ultra Prime. And now we're sitting here, 45 seconds, without the Ultra Prime Sejuani ult, without the Dragon, but it is only Junhao and a little bit pressured, but I like the fact that AL were really right now that they can bluff. And now we're sitting here, 45 seconds. Ultra Prime are first. Ultra Prime, this is a continuation of that Baron play. Remember, Wenjang teleported for this play for the Baron. They got him off the objective, and now they need to be able to make good. This is the more important Ultra Prime, this is a continuation of that Baron play. Remember, Wenjang teleported for this play for the Baron. They got him off the objective, and now they need to be able to make good. This is the more important fight for the tail of the tape for this game.
Just looking to potentially and the ultimates out from anyone's legend are coming back up. Shanks and Tarzan something's not quite right as the dragon has spawned. We're getting pinged out. Flandra and Tarzan just looking to potentially
rejoin up with his team. They are losing position on mid.
Something's not quite right as the dragon has spawned.
Goes into mid lane. He knows he can clear this very, very easily. And with 5 grubs, while I would definitely prefer for AL to please just grab this dragon, they can feel very safe about potentially going for it very, very easily. And with 5 grubs, while I would definitely prefer for AL to please just grab this dragon, they can feel very safe about potentially going for
trying to do what he can with these bouncing bombs. Saber is going to go all the way through on the Hexscape. Here comes the ultimates coming through. The knockups are there, and anyone's legend are taking out Ultra Prime. Here's the execution coming through for Wenjiang. Trying to get to the back of the fight for the Fate Seal. Is going to be able to knock up the knockups are there, and anyone's legend are taking out Ultra Prime. Here's the execution coming through for Wenjiang. Trying to get to the back of the fight for the Fate Seal. Is going to be able to knock up the Akali. They find Saber. They find the snip away at the life. Tarzan flashes over and takes him down. Anyone's legend win the fight and the soul. Close.
Waco, he could have definitely won that fight. Just a few different skill shots landed a little bit differently, and Ultra Prime come out on top.
Win the fight and the soul.
Now going over to AL. Waco, he could have definitely won that fight. Just a few different skill shots landed a little bit differently, and Ultra Prime come out on top. Almost level 18 now going over to AL. Those feels like the game is so much, and in this the first start of this is pretty strong from AL. We have a 3.5 item, almost level 18 Gwen in this game. I love the solo lanes of Ultra Prime so much, and in this, with the first start of this is pretty strong from AL. A lot of crowd control into the back line, assassinate multiple members of AL. I love what the solo lanes of where it gets a little dicier with AL, because Shanks does not land the damage. They move immediately into the back line, assassinate multiple members of AL. And this right here is where it gets a little dicey for the Gwen to come over the wall, because Shanks does not land the damage.
So
this Q landing is quite unfortunate. If he just continues to walk back, it could have been fine. But he's just not expecting for the Gwen to come over the wall.
All of this damage that Ultra Prime is able to put together. So tough. That is the difference. Anyone's legend, just a little bit thicker, going down. Flandra able to survive. So far ahead, man. Nearly 4,000 golds. And that is the difference maker. Ready to start this Baron up turret, going down. Flandra getting that one. He is so far ahead, man. Nearly 4,000 golds.
Majority of the vision, but I like that with the scuttle. It's making it a little difficult for AL to just immediately go for the Baron. What can AL if Flandra was a true knower, by the way, majority of the vision, but I like that with 4 items, scuttle does make it a little difficult. You should be able to solo Baron just immediately go for the Baron. Additional healing for the passive. If Flandra was a true knower, by the way, the ultimate thrown away with 4 items is on a should be able to ward the pings coming out. AL know that they're going to be going Vi hunting. Make this play onto Xiaoxia.
No, Junhao, no! They know you're there. He's able to dash away for right now, but he doesn't get spotted. Once again, they're on a wild goose chase. We're burning some flashes to try to take him down. Junhao, no! They know you're there. All right, he's able to dash away for right now, but he doesn't get spotted. Once again, they're on a wild goose chase. We're burning some flashes to try to take him down. Kyle will get there.
alive.
Wait!
Oh! Shake him.
They killed Kyle. Look what's happening on the opposite side, though. Saber. Look at the fight. They can find Shanks.
Shanks is stunned. He's under the turret. They're going to go all the way in for the public execution, too. And they find him.
They killed Kyle. Look what's happening on the opposite side, though. Saber. Trying to fight. They can find Shanks.
He's on top of Saber. He's under the turret. They're trying to get out with the angles. He can, too. And they find him. And now Hope plays from Ultra Prime to cut off Tarzan. He's going to slow him up with that Hex. He's on top of Saber. But Saber, he's trying to get out with the angles. And he can't. The Drake takes him down. But Tarzan will chase him down. And the touch of the Freljord will keep you in place. He's desperately trying to get away. The Drake counts step. But Tarzan will chase him down. And the touch of the Freljord will keep you in place.
They take one step forward. It's 2 steps back. They got stopped on the Baron. They make a play on the bottom side. But guess what? Flandre and the rest of AL are still able to collapse. Utilizing some of those teleports. They take one step forward. They now will be able to grab the Baron. They got stopped on the Baron. They make a play on the bottom side. But guess what? Flandre and the rest of AL are still able to dragon utilizing some of those teleports. 5 grubs and a Baron. They now will be able to grab the Baron on the side of anyone's legend. And this Baron timer is going to run perfectly into the Elder Dragon spawning. So with 5 grubs and a Baron, the same area as last time for AL. The expected favorites of this group to be able to close this one out.
Trying to get away is Junhao. Saber maybe trying to help his teammate. Good buffer on the ultimate, and they find Tarzan, but he will not bleed out. He will survive. Saber gets 1 kill. Saber needs to go back in and try to find another. Trying to dodge out of the damage. Good buffer on the ultimate, and they find Tarzan, but he will not bleed out. He will survive. Saber gets 1 kill. Saber needs to go back in and try to find another. Trying to dodge out of the damage, but Flandre does too much.
With those 2 deaths,
Saber can't get in.
Almost 2,000 gold in his advantage versus Tarzan. That is had the ultimate gone down. There was a big enough change gold. With those 2 deaths, Junhao had almost 2,000 gold in his advantage. Sucks to see versus Tarzan. That is completely gone down opener, and there are still glimpses. Right, these 2 items, these 3 items coming in for Saber and one Jung. Even Waco, sucks as the damage carries. They are getting their jobs done, but it just feels like there are still glimpses. They're doing it after Junhao and Xiaoxia have already died. If they can maybe coordinate this just a little bit tighter, we can start to see they are getting their jobs done, but it just feels like they're doing it after Junhao and Xiaoxia have already died. If they can maybe coordinate this just a little bit tighter, we can start to see Ultra Prime really start to contest
this AL. Is going to be up in 40 seconds. This Baron too, if the minions are buffed. The good news for Ultra Prime is if you don't want to go in for a full fight, if you get enough vision down, Junhao can sneak in. Waco can use his ultimate in 40 seconds. You get a miracle. Yeah, the good news for Ultra Prime is if you don't want to go in for a full fight, if you get enough vision down, Junhao can sneak in. Waco can use his ultimate and maybe
Flandre here with almost look at the solo lanes right now over his opponent. It's not helping some of the gold deficits that they're finding themselves in. Despite all of the Ultra Prime now going into him. 10 seconds before that here with almost 80 CS. It doesn't get any easier if you lose. It's not helping some of the gold deficits that they're finding themselves in.
Xiaoxia is getting taken lower and lower. 10 champions will deal a lot of damage to Tarzan. Just onslaught, just going forward on these guys. Teleport coming in from Waco. Xiaoxia is getting taken lower and lower. These champions will deal a lot of damage to Tarzan. Just onslaught, just waiting. They're going to try to combo him out. Fate Seal doesn't land on a Waco, but he will fall all the same. One Zhang goes down 2. The flash onto Saber as Flandre looking to take him out. Doesn't quite land. Fate Seal doesn't land on a Waco, but he will fall all the same. Legend. One Zhang goes down 2. The flash onto Saber as Flandre looking to take him out.
There it is again. Baron still here. 20 seconds. Hextech Soul and the grubs.
Found their way, going all the way in onto the support, but they will fall.
There it is again. Baron still here. 20 seconds. Hextech Soul and the grubs. Come on.
They will get their first win. All the way in onto the support, but they will fall. Ultra Prime fought valiantly, but anyone's legend were inevitable. They will get their first win of the round robin.
Still a big question mark as to whether or not they're going to be able to level up. Not only today, but in the second day. I think a big improvement from our solo lanes here. The bottom lane for Ultra Prime, unfortunately, still a big question. Kind of like a heartbreaker whether or not they're going to be able to level up. Not only today, but in the second day of actually do what their composition and split 2 placements champions want to do. Unfortunate, but it's kind of like a heartbreaker, especially because Xiaoxia. I know it's your first game on the stage. You're coming over from their composition and what their BLG's developmental league to do, but just getting caught out especially too many times. I know it's your first game on the stage. You're coming over from
BLG's developmental
can
league,
only go onto Tarzan so much, right?
Just getting caught out
to keep yourself alive, and Tarzan's taking
able to be
what 500 damage on the way out. It's like, well, we're missing this big team fight can only go on Tarzan so much. To go on top of Yone, keep yourself alive, and Tarzan's taking not immune. What 500 damage on the way out. It's like, well, we're missing those little things that compound and really made a big difference to go on top of Yone or on this Gwen when she's not immune. Again, as you mentioned earlier in the game, not perfect. It's those little things that compound and really made a big difference.
Look, they are a team that has not been infallible. We've
again, as you mentioned earlier in the game, not perfect.
Kind of
plot armor.
And I will say part of the they are a team that has not been infallible. They are a team that is not very creative and kind of looking to push the boundaries. I will say part of the I like that we got to see the Gwen again from Flandra. I think definitely a player of the game. They are a team that is very creative influence and looking to kind of push the boundaries here. So I like that we got to see the Gwen again from Flandra. I think definitely a player of the game
going crazy
because of how much
I've never seen such a good game of rock, paper, scissors when Scissors actually beats Rock
for this Gwen.
And that's how powerful Flandra was. Yeah, bro was just going out of his mind. I've never seen Gwen into Ambessa. If anybody had any doubts about how good that actually is, that's how powerful it is. That good, and certainly needs to be on the radar of every single team. The Gwen into Ambessa. If anybody had any doubts about how good that actually is, it is that good, and certainly needs to be on the radar of every single team.
After we do our play-by-play, feels pretty good. Things for AL as they move forward. They're not going to have still. I think playing along the lines of what we saw from them. In play-by-play swaps in between, they're going to be going up against. I don't think they need to be ramping it into overdrive right now. This is still, I think, playing along the lines of what we saw from them. Eventually get to that point where you're looking closer and closer. I don't think they need to be ramping it into overdrive right now. This is the start of a split, so take your time. Eventually get to that point where you're looking closer and closer towards contesting our other top teams in playoffs and
for all of placements. One thing that I've really enjoyed to see is that some of these teams that we've kind of defined as maybe teams that are going to be not only for actually putting up fights all of placements against some of the best the LPL has had to offer. Sure, it is best of some of these teams that we've kind of defined as quote very fake potentially, but still it's still very nice to see against a game like this. Ultra Prime are not sure it is best of one, actually making plays and getting advantages. There's hope for these. Very fake.
Yeah, it's so fun because you look at the last 2 days of play. I mean, there was an EDG that almost was able to take down BLG.
There's hope.
There was it's so yesterday. You look at the last 2 days of play. I mean, the very last game of last night, LG that almost was able to take down BLG. And LG would have second in that game yesterday. So yeah, we were looking a lot of games coming. The very last game of last night, LGD versus JDG, they almost got taken down. And LG would play, and honestly, a best of one is basically. So you could just say the start of a games coming in right already. They could have these same strategies coming into a game. These teams are looking to play, and honestly, a best of one. I think it is basically that you could just say the start of a best of a series, right? Like they could have these same strategies coming into a game. We do expect of a best kind of go out early in these groups as I think it is good to see that our lower place and lower expectation teams are pushing some of the teams that we do expect to kind of go out early.
Yeah,
he was top seeds. Go.
I just feel like it felt like he did. Take a look at this damage. Flandra did a lot less.
Yeah, I mean he didn't. It didn't seem like we were getting.
He still did a lot, but I just feel like
he was our two top laners.
I just feel like
comparatively
it felt like he did
what we saw yesterday. And yeah, I mean, he didn't fight. It didn't seem like there's only so much you could do as Gwen. I mean, you have a lot of true damage as well, so you're already kind of ripping through a lot. Comparatively, I want to give my flowers over to someone. And when he did get into fights, there's only so much you can do as Gwen. I mean, you have a lot of true damage as well, so you're already kind of ripping through a lot. So if we can get a lot bigger, I want to give my flowers over to someone placements like Saber and Waco. I had big question marks as to how they were going to perform. And it is only one game, so if we can get a bigger body of games throughout this quite good actually, then I think we can start to maybe
had a lot of pressure. It was just the side laning
Ultra Prime were able to
really
get done
was his undoing a couple of times. Yeah, Saber in lane looked quite good actually. Mentioned earlier, when you get caught out, had a lot of pressure. It was just the side laning slows the game down. Really was his undoing. A couple of times getting caught out. It gave time for anyone mentioned earlier. When you get caught out, get there, ruins your team's tempo. It slows the game down.
I just feel like the liabilities this game are Junhao and
push their advantages. It gave time for anyone's legend to get
Zhenhao and them were kind of trying to take space. Look at how a lot of these plays. I just feel like the liabilities of Xiao Zhenhao on screen. I feel like if there was just a little bit better communication, Zhenhao and them were kind of trying to take space. Look at how a lot of these plays, maybe this game goes a little bit different. Part of yes, the laning phase for Saber was good, but even outside there was just a little bit better communication, really contesting things a lot on the jungle and support of Ultra Prime. If we can get more of that from Ultra Prime, because yes, hopefully this means that this group is not as dead in the water as we expect. I feel like because we are looking at it to be AL first, so if we can get more of that from Ultra Prime, probably looking more. Hopefully this means that this group is not as dead in the water as we expect. Ultra Prime and dead last, which was kind of looking at it to be what we expected AL first. TT RNG maybe probably looking more like RNG is going to be third, and then Ultra Prime and dead last, which was kind of the same as what we expected from Split 1.
Going toe-to-toe with Shanks, and yeah, you know what, you are beating him out. It does have a lot some scenarios. He's alone on poor Waco, man. This guy did a lot. Your guy who was rough early game, going toe-to-toe with Shanks, but was really beating him out. The engine that made this team go. Doing so much damage, man. This guy did a lot. Had a really rough early game.
He made I think a lot of great plays. The fact that he was able to keep himself so much relevant through his resource management was really smart. And so he made maybe that means we get a little bit more from the fact that he was able to keep himself relevant. I think the problem is again it is so hard to play without your jungle support in the game. And maybe that means we get a little bit more from this team. It's just coming into this AL, we're expected to be the favorites. The problem is again it is so hard to play without your jungle support with the player of the game. They just don't look coordinated. Perfectly fine. Coming into this AL, we're expected to be the favorites. We are thinking it's probably going to be Flandro with the player of the game. I wouldn't be surprised. That's personally if maybe perfectly fine. I think that with the early playing Renata too much not too many flashy plays. Hope and Kyle were kind of I wouldn't be surprised personally if maybe Kyle gets a shout here, but
which means there could be a couple voters that were like, look at all the kills this man got. You know what? Let's vote for him. Don't at all because that vote for Hope did get a lot of kills. No reason not to. Which means there could be a couple voters that were like, look at all the kills this man got. You know what? Let's vote for him. Don't vote for Gwen Enjoyers Rejoice. There's no reason not to. Gwen Enjoyers Rejoice, baby.
Here we go.
10, 1, and 11. Bunch of damage done. Bunch of KP. MVP count 1, baby. Gwen Enjoyers Rejoice, baby. 10, 1, and 11.
Remember,
bunch of damage done.
Double round robin.
Bunch of KP. MVP count 1, baby.
We're playing 6 games in total. We got a couple of games to keep it going. For the rest of tonight. I got a couple of games. Remember, but it is a double round robin. Best of 1 format here. So we're going to be playing 6 games in total. We got a couple of games
to a short break.
For the rest of tonight.
Game 3 coming up soon. RNG versus Ultra Prime. You're not going to want to miss it, especially. The way Great job from AL, able to pull it out in the end. We're going to go and kick it to a short break. Game 3 coming up soon, RNG versus Ultra Prime. You're not going to want to miss it, especially the way Ultra Prime played in the last game. match for third and fourth place. This is going to do a lot of storytelling here. Our third game of the day coming through.
Yeah, it's the early matchup. You know, we're going to see these two teams face up against each other
match for third and fourth place. This is going to do a lot of storytelling here.
An early preview. Yeah, it's the early matchup. You know, we're going to see these two teams face up against each other with the gameplay that we've already gotten from both. This is an early look, an early preview as to who exactly is going to be battling for third and fourth, especially with the gameplay that we've already gotten from both of these teams early on in this group today.
He had a really rough first game, getting absolutely focused on that Callista. Keep a careful eye out for a guy like Jachi, be the one for RNG, because he had a really rough first game, getting absolutely focused down on that
especially
Callista.
With
this
how
time
the bot lane
around,
has been looking,
he's going to need to be the one to pop off
what I want to focus on for RNG and for Ultra Prime is our two mid laners, because especially Saber how just came off of an Akali game where he was able to do a lot of great things. What I want to focus on for RNG and for Ultra Prime is versus our two mid laners, because at least early on in this just came off of an Akali game where he was able to do a lot of great things up against Shanks. I think we need to see how these two mid laners match up versus Taiwan, who they are at least early on in this group is starting to show signs of struggle and weakness. So
struggling a bit in split one.
How these two mid laners match up because of how important they are to their team's success.
They were in it for a long time against someone that like anyone's legend. Struggling a bit in split one on the head. Prime not looking so hot. It feels like we're just waiting for this guy pretty good. They were in it for a long time against someone has not like anyone's legend. So, but against a team like Ultra Prime on the head, could be prime opportunity. It feels like we're just waiting for this guy to.
And this is the kind of place that you have to do it right. These are the matches when you are
but against a team like Ultra Prime,
to be like third and fourth. You need to win games like this. And actually, this would be a great time to bring up. Right, these are the matches when you are format graphic really quickly like third and fourth. I want to win games like this. And actually, this would be a great time to looking at this and you can say like, hey, if we can RNG and Ultra Prime, what happens if they get third and fourth before the start of this game? Immediately gets you set to the Nirvana group. Highlight third place, however, in each looking at this, and you can say like, hey, all gonna have to play against RNG and Ultra Prime. What happens if they get third and fourth? Play for a chance. Immediately gets you set to the Nirvana. Now to play against the third place, however, you're gonna have access to some of the better teams. All gonna have to play against the other round seeds. But the big point of making Ascend is you don't have the possibility of having your year. You're gonna have access to some of the better teams. You have access to double round robin. But the big point of making Ascend is you don't have the possibility of having your year competitive calendar cut in half.
You don't have a playoff spot, right? I mean, you have a finish at the bottom, long Nirvana. Like for teams like you don't have a third split, but even if you're talking about hey, they need to gel together, they need more games. You don't have a playoff robin, best of three is a long layoff. You know, if I did my math for teams, not as many games as a double round robin. We're talking about hey, they need to gel together. They need more games. A single round robin, best of three. Is
best of threes.
You know, if I did my math correctly, not as many games as a double round
longer best of ones. I don't know how you feel about having a bunch of best of ones. I am at first I was like, it's best of threes, and it's best of fives to just playing some best of ones. But for the sake of just trying, I don't know how you feel about having a bunch of best of ones. I am how quick. At first I was like, damn, just went from all best of fives to just playing some best of ones. But for the sake of just trying to get teams into groups,
everything was best of five. It's kind of nice to be like rapid fire games. Everybody gets to see the teams. If you're not somebody who has been a long time watcher of us, refreshing change, especially since hopping in here. Everything was best of five. It's kind of a great little sample. Rapid fire games. Everybody gets to see the teams. If you're not somebody who has been a long time watcher of us,
looking forward now, we kind of have to get down to the brass tacks.
It's a great little sampler for you to get to know all of the teams.
We do expect for RNG to be the favorites in this game. Looking forward now, we kind of have to get down to the brass tacks. I know that in comparison, coming into this, we do expect for RNG. I don't think it's by an overwhelming manner, and we did see some really good things how far they're able to make it in split one. In terms of gameplay, I think if you were to kind of put the two games side by side, I don't think it's by an overwhelming manner. And we did see some really good things did, and that could potentially lead to in terms of gameplay. I think like we were saying, kind of put the two games side by side.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I had RNG finishing third in the group.
Then RNG
not gonna lie, after that last game of Ultra Prime, I'm not upset. I'm not feeling as confident anymore, Alk. I know you have. Yeah, I agree. You know, I had RNG finishing third in the group. Not gonna lie, after that last game of Ultra Prime, I'm not feeling as confident about it. I know you fight a little bit harder, really big confidence with the team comp they put together, and maybe they're not going to get a similar comp. going into RNG, but it seems like something about Prime to fight a little bit back to back. Sure, a lot of it had pretty confident with the team comp they put together.
Yeah,
and maybe they're not going to get
I think that there's a lot to
going into
RNG
RNG,
work on, and I think
if I'm Ultra Prime,
the thing that I
know
will
they're
be
playing
looking
back to back, but
is
they're going to feel pretty confident.
Momentum, because you are a team that just came off. I think that there's a lot just lost kind of work on, and RNG did have a little bit of time. The thing that I will be looking about what they wanted to do and prepare specifically for this match. You are a team that just came off of the stage. You just lost.
Get a little bit
and RNG did have a little bit of time to kind of bounce back.
Gets a really locked back in. Meanwhile, Ultra Prime, they got to go and do the back to back. I mean, that wasn't a short game by any means, right?
Get a little bit
of completely switch everything up. You're playing against gets a really locked back in. Meanwhile, Ultra Prime, they got to go and do the back to back. I mean, that wasn't a short game by any means, right? And now you have to completely switch everything up. You're playing against a different team. Ultra Prime being on the other coaching staff going to have to prepare really well for that, because obviously you prepare differently between RNG.
They will have to ban Skarner. They'll have to ban Triple Jace.
On the other side,
assuredly.
Skarner got through once already. Maybe he gets through a second time. It'd be a mistake.
They will have to ban Skarner. I was there for that, and I said on the cast, I don't think Skarner was a problem in that game, but definitely
Skarner got through once already. Maybe he gets through a second time. It'd be a mistake.
Again, I don't know if either of these. I was there for that, and I said on the cast, I don't think Skarner was a problem in that game, but definitely didn't help.
Specifically,
true.
We'll see. And
Milky Way,
again, I don't know if either of these junglers player that really kind of excites me.
No,
Skarner. So. Got draft here, ready to go.
Milky Way, he just doesn't seem and
hasn't
been a player that really kind of excites me.
Do or die, almost, essentially. It's the first do or die. Right?
Got draft here, ready to go.
The first one and the second one, so important, right? This is, all right, really important. You gotta win do or die almost on the first day. It's the first do or die. Right? You feel really good about yourself, but also the first one and the second one into a spot. So important, right? This is Skarner getting banned. Really important. You gotta pick Vi coming over one game on the first day.
Very, very interesting.
You feel really good about yourself, but also put yourself
a lot of focus on some strong picks for the enemy team, especially
first pick Vi coming over from Milky Way.
So very, very interesting bands coming in from
Sejuani is available, and Saber has been
kind of a melee specialist, picking up things like the Trinity that we had talked about earlier. We get our Nefiri!
Let's go!
We get a Nefiri finally! Now, is this going to be Nefiri jungle? Nefiri just got a rework. We are playing on 25.6. We get our Nefiri!
Let's go!
We get a Nefiri finally! Now, is this going to be Nefiri jungle?
All right.
Just got a rework.
Listen, that's a pretty big curveball, I have to say.
We'll hold out to see
I wonder
where
how
exactly
much they've been able to practice with it, because it feels like playing a Nefiri here. Listen, that's a pretty big curveball. I have to say, I wonder how much they've been able to practice with it, because it feels like here playing that Nefiri here. How much the reward trying out something new instead of going with pretty even in skill level. But we'll have to see how this Nefiri comes through and makes an impact. We're seeing another Akali. Not sure how much the reward would actually be, because stacking up the melees with Galio pick skill level really big.
By the way, I want to really quickly touch on this. This is Nefiri's second game in Tier 1 play. Fisher was the first player to play
stacking up the melees with Galio pick
LCK last summer. By the way, I want to really quickly touch on this. This is Nefiri's second game in Tier 1 play. Fisher was the first player to play Akali by LCK last summer. So a lot of really exciting stuff. RNG and Ultra just copy pasting a draft that we had just saw. I don't know if I like this. You can try to prevent the dive. There's so many ways of getting out from this back line. And Ultra Prime, I think it does struggle a little bit with having. I don't know if I like this. You can try to prevent the dive, but there's so many ways of getting out from underneath.
See what the move is Galio that
I think it does struggle a little bit with having to deal with some of the AD bruisers as we get in the second phase.
That's something you want to go toward, but. The Nefiri really throws a wrench into a lot of this for me. Once again, not a champion that Brahms support. We've really been able to see a whole lot. What are your opinions here? That's something you RNG have the tools to be able to keep it in check. The Nefiri really throws a wrench into a lot of this for me.
For now, it seems like it. I like how much crowd control they have with the Vi.
What are your opinions here? Does RNG have the tools to be able to keep it in check?
That opens up someone like Wako on this now. It seems like it. I like how much crowd control they have. Only Vi ultimate one target on lockdown, but that does mean getting rid of someone like Wako
and the Renata. I like this as an adaptation here. I do want to see from
only Vi
ultimate
assuming
that this Galio is going mid. Probably should just be looking to pick up a and the Renata. I like this as an adaptation here. I do want to see from Ultra Prime, because we are assuming that this Galio is going mid. Probably should just be looking to pick up a support and leave that Nefiri flex.
Give him R5, have a good time. Again, seeing the rest of the team comp, maybe determining if you're going to just slam Gwen or you're going to go with something else. As Leona locked in for Ultra Prime. Give him R5, have a good time.
Goes really hard here for RNG. So what Braum lanes do they want to pick up?
Going to just slam Gwen or you're going to go with something else. As Leona
merchant back down in the LDL and even bringing it out here in the LPL really hard here for RNG. Take the Ash again. Braum I think is just too strong. Joshi has been an Aphelios merchant. Look at what Ultra Prime have. Now we got to see where is this Fury going. Is it going to be the jungle? Ash again. Braum I think is just too strong. Do assume it is in the jungle because into the Leona. Very broken. And look at what Ultra Prime have. Now we got to see where is this Fury going. Is it going to be the jungle? Is it going to be a top lane pick? We do assume it is in the jungle because it was very broken on
This makes sense. No surprise in the end with the Gwen getting locked in for Wonjiang. So it will be the Fury in the jungle.
Yeah, so some changes coming in for Nefiri.
No surprise in the end.
Around some of her abilities, her ultimate that used to be her ult.
It will be Nefiri in the jungle.
You got a lot of vision and gave some changes coming in of the nearest champions. Got moved to her moved around some of her abilities. She comes untargetable and that used to be her ult more damage. She has so many more vision and gave available to her pack mates. Sight of the nearest champions. From Ultra Prime to her W, they have a composition that kind of plays a little bit weirdly. They're going to be having she has so many more dogs alongside this Galio. Gwen can be very difficult from to deal Ultra Prime with, here. They have a composition that kind of plays a little bit weirdly. They're going to be having Leona kind of frontlining alongside this Galio. Gwen very simple to deal with, but structured. It feels like to me go straight in the back line and provide a lot of damage. Come off a bit disjointed. Whereas I think
when you have the Ash ultimate as your setup,
simple,
makes it really easy for everybody else. Like, oh man, my Vi's out of range. No worries, bro. Here comes the arrow from downtown. You're now all of a sudden very much set up. Makes it really easy for everybody else. Like, oh man, my Vi's out of range. No worries, bro. Here comes the arrow from downtown. You're now all of a sudden very much in range. The name of the game is just letting this Gwen be up top unabated and then win 5v4s from there. That's the name of the game for RNG.
So interesting, man. The fact that we finally get to see a Nefiri jungle been teased every single day of LPL. It's been every single game. One of the players, at least in the early stage games, immediately go and hover it, but they never end up locking in. Every single day of LPL. It's been every single game. Maybe it was going to be one of the players, at least in the early stage games, immediately go and hover it, but they never end up locking it in. Said today, let's see if Ultra Prime are able to deliver. Maybe it was going to be someone like Tarzan. But immediately now, it's going to be this Nefiri who has been all the talk of the town this patch. Let's see if Ultra Prime are able to deliver, or if it's just another bad hound dog.
Goes the same way and you lose this game on this Nefiri. We did talk about it. It's a hell of a pick to really going to put a gambit, make it out of this group, because if this place goes the same way, so Junhao, he is the carry. He is the guy for Ultra Prime. You're finished third rookie of the split. Remember, to make it out of this group. If you're going to put it on anybody and put Junhao, he is the carry. He is the guy for Ultra Prime.
It's going to have to be him.
Finished third rookie of the split. Remember,
just taking a look.
If you're going to put it on anybody and put the game on their shoulders, it's going to be
jungle, as I think some of our other LPL broadcasters would be. Seems like it's just like a normal tank build with not as familiar with Nefiri jungle as I think some of our other sites. So LPL broadcasters would be, but seems like it's just like a normal tank build. A lot of early skirmishing versus the Vi can be a bit different from online stats sites. So we're going to be learning alongside that broadcast what exactly Nefiri jungle has got. Going to be interesting. I think he has a lot of early skirmishing. Versus the Vi can be a bit difficult. So
Pursuit gonna be,
I think we're going to be learning alongside the broadcast what exactly Nefiri
target out some of these members if you're going in for ganks, or if you're just full clear Andy, right? And if you're a full clear Andy, I don't know, man. I think that kind of favors the Vi a little bit. Out some of these members. I don't know how much of that is because we know what Vi is going to do. We know what the clear Andy, right? And if you're a full clear Andy, I don't know, man. I think that kind of favors the Vi a little bit, but I don't know how much of that is because we know what Vi is going to do. We know what the game plan is. Typically, you go, you hit level 6, you drop your ultimate on people, you get kills. That skin is dope.
Why are we doing cinematic camera? Yeah, there we go. Rotate the cinematic camera. We actually have to see the dog. Respect. It is also the first Nefiri of the LPL as well. So, all right,
that skin is dope.
Junhao is here making history. Coming into this game, though, both junglers are Nefiri jungle of the LPL. Respect. It is also the first Nefiri, and for RNG, we are expecting this bottom lane to see Junhao is here making history. Coming into this game, though, both junglers are passionately with Leona. Doesn't have very many offside,
And for
those who may not know, you get hit with a Braum Q, you're almost guaranteed to be stunned against an Ashe.
Braum Ashe is
you are going to be slowed forever until you are stunned.
Doesn't have very many options. Plus the Ranger's focus.
Those who may not know, you get hit with a Braum Q, you're almost guaranteed to be stunned against an Ashe.
Going topside, I think
you are going to be slowed forever until you are stunned.
Not as easy as they once would have. Plus the Ranger's focus doesn't make the fact that
any easier
for you miss out on that
going topside.
I think
onto someone
the Fury ganks are not as
it kind of sucks,
as they
but
once would have been.
I think
considering the fact
when
that
you look at her solo lanes,
miss out
I
on
think
that.
It's going to be very reliant on
Junhao
onto someone
moving
else
with Saucia and finding
some
sucks,
angles.
But
maybe this is the
game
that we had looked at
from
when you look
after
at her
the
solo
last
lanes,
where
I think it's going to be very
reliant on
Junhao
moving with Saucia and
finding some angles.
So maybe this is the game
last
that we had
game where
looked
Ultra
at
Prime
after the
were
last
doing
one,
quite well. Saber had a lane advantage over Shanks, but this time around, just because of the way the matchup is, because it's going to be pushed in most of the time. Ultra Prime against Tangyuan, we're doing quite well. Saber and had a lane situation like that could make it very hard, but this time around, just because of the way the matchup is, it's going to be pushed in most of the time.
So right now, Junhao's already finished all of his camps before the
situation like that could make it very hard for Junhao to actually make plays.
Gwen doesn't seem like they want to be able to come on down.
So right now,
Junhao's already finished all of his camps before the Vi, pushing down.
Pretty similar
timer here, but
Milky Way finished
Gwen doesn't seem like they want to be able to
and immediately he's like, I'm racing down bottom lane.
You're not getting this other one. So when Junhao's going to be pushing down. And you see that
Milky Way
finished the Scuttle Crab, and immediately he's like, I'm racing down bottom lane. You lose out because the enemy bottom lane has priority, so RNG playing very well around their lanes, and Milky Way being the biggest benefactor out of all this, getting double crab. And you lose out because the enemy bottom lane has priority, so RNG playing very well around their lanes, and Milky Way being the biggest benefactor out of all this, getting the double crab.
Head up top and. No, I'm not entirely sure how this about 2 minutes squad intends on trying to get any of these grubs. We expect to see the bot lane head up top, and as we saw in the last game, I'm not entirely sure. Outside of that, I think you're just like, hey man, Moonjong, you're gonna have to go without the grubs. Be very useful for the Gwen. As we saw in the last game that was played,
set up on the bottom
but outside of that, I think you're just like, hey man,
wrapping around the bottom
you're gonna have to go without this game.
Milky Way is here. They get the flash immediately out from Xiaoxia.
We're already seeing flash volley as well. They're gonna go all the way in. Their focus is a little split here, but they're gonna go on to Xiaoxia. Junhao is here to turn it around and sticking on them very well. There's a lot of damage coming through. Niket will fall too. It's a double kill for Wacko, and they're gonna look for Jiachi as well. Junhao is here to turn it around and sticking on them very well. There's a lot of damage coming through,
and that completely backfires for Royal.
And they're going to look for Jiachi as well, and Junhao gets that one a 3 for nothing for Ultra Prime.
Not there, and that completely backfires for Royal. Never give up. Ultra Prime in immediate feat of strength turn that play, like you said, as well. Some of the target jump start not there, and it is a 2 of the carries summoner spells now gone from both of these teams. First, an immediate sheet of strength completing here for Ultra Prime as well. That's fine, and the slow is great. Jump start in why are we exhausting a Leona? This is a huge mistake. I get it. You want to try to lower the movement speed, but this just sets up for a perfect re-engage from Xiaoxia. Why are we exhausting a Leona? This is a huge mistake. I get it. You want to try to lower the movement speed, but this just sets up for a perfect re-engage from Xiaoxia.
He now has his serrated Dirk. Junhao's got a pickaxe as well. I mean, this is going to be really tough for RNG to fight out of this early hole. Very much earned to the start of the grubs because guess what? You win the bottom fight. You win the grubs too, baby. As well. I mean, this is going to be really tough for RNG to fight out of this early hole. Ultra Prime to start of the grubs because guess what? You win the bottom fight. You win the grubs too, baby.
This Gwen, so later in the game they move their bottom lane over. They'll grab themselves grubs. Which is a big takeaway, especially when we're talking about he's going to be fact them grabbing this dragon later in the game. I am again looking towards these level 6s that are coming on through soon enough. Xiaoxia and by himself, you already see that Niket is on his way. Them grabbing the dragon. As long as this wave doesn't crash within the next 10 seconds, that are coming on through soon enough. Xiaoxia finding by himself. We already see that Niket is on his way. So as long as this wave doesn't crash,
has an idea that he's there, just takes away the gromp
and
takes a little bit harder on Milky Way. Junhao now level 6. Milky Way still stuck at level 5. Just less time. Has an idea that he's there. Just takes away try and make him play. But although right now, not really the best time to do. Milky Way still stuck at level 5.
So we're getting a bit of some time has on the map, 3 minutes before the very next
play. But although right now, not really the best time to do so.
And some items that are going to be coming on through for these teams. So we're getting a bit of a acceleration here because of that bottom 3 minutes before the very next was able to grab those 2 kills. He's going to be getting a goal. Very items that are going to be coming on through. Expect a 9.5 minute first acceleration because of that bottom lane play. Because Walker was able to grab those 2 kills. He's going to be getting a goal. You've got the level 6 now here for the Nefiri. Expect a 9.5 minute first item here. And I want to see how Ultra Prime are able to play around him and Junhao. Hey, you've got the level 6 now.
Whenever I get a 9-minute Ghost Blade in my games, it's feeling real good. You look at the health bars on the side of RNG, they don't really have any true tanks. You have a Braum, but that's about it. Whenever I get a 9-minute Ghost Blade in my games, it's feeling real good. If you look at the health bars on the side of RNG, they don't really have any true tanks. You have a Braum, but that's about it. You're going to be doing strong early game champions like the Nefiri, like the Varus. As long as you don't let go, you're in good shape. And I mean, you put yourself in the driver's seat
here for RNG.
We strong early game champions like the Nefiri, like the Varus. As long as you don't let go, you're in good shape.
This bot lane vision in the river. So I want to see RNG play around those level 6s really strong ultimates because yes, while they can be reacted upon by Ultra Prime, I think if they have a really strong opening fight, I want to see RNG they can find themselves around really strong ultimates because yes, while they can be reacted upon by Ultra Prime, I think one of them they have a really has a pretty long cooldown at rank 1. They can find themselves at a really good disadvantage. They still have the Vault Breaker. They still have it's going to go wide. Execution. So that's one of them, but it has a pretty long cooldown at rank 1, which is fine. Into a spot in a still have where Ultra Prime are willing to breaker. They still have the perfect.
If you're going to wait until the objective to use these ultimates, you're more than welcome to do so. But I feel like
Ultra Prime are willing to
RNG gets a quick opportunity. You're going to wait until the objective to use these ultimates. Get a little bit more vision, put themselves in a better spot. You're more than welcome to do so, but I feel like potentially here RNG gets a quick opportunity to use them. Continues the lion wait, looking for the perfect opportunity. Get a little bit more vision, heads themselves in a better spot for grubs. They're going to look for Saber potentially.
But now he's also cut off from his topside camps because Ultra Prime can very easily just invade into his jungle and try to find him. Maybe try to go for a dive on top lane. But now he's also cut off from his topside camps because Ultra Prime can very easily just invade into his jungle and try to find him. Moving in onto Milky Way, get the flash out and steal his Gromp. Great job from Ultra Prime. And 35 seconds before the Grubs, you have to expect that they're going to be in Junhao moving in onto Milky Way, get the flash out and steal his Gromp.
Without that flash,
great job from Ultra Prime. 35 seconds before the Grubs, you have to expect that they're going to be in a good position for this.
Ash Arrow they tried were unable to make a play or do anything for it. Without that flash, Prime continues to keep themselves lowered by that much in 15 seconds. The first Ash Arrow they tried were unable to make a play or do anything for it. Prime continues to keep themselves in a good spot with these grubs.
He did want to try to go for some of his bot side camps, but recognizing that so much of their vision is on this top side, Lunjong is crashing a wave at the same time, so might as well get themselves 6 grubs, which is really good. RNG do have a play here. Saber just teleported into mid. Tanyuan can look to play on this next mid wave and try to drop this. Might as well get themselves 6 grubs, which is really good. RNG do have a play here. Saber just teleported into mid. I want to see them can look to play on this next mid wave and try to get some vision and potentially set up for a dive. Because outside of that, we're going to continue to see plays like this where 80 carriers are trading flashes. I want to see that Jachi cannot step up into the bottom side jungle because he knows Xiaoxia is somewhere waiting in the wings with the Leona. Outside of that, we're going to continue to see plays like this where 80 carriers are trading flashes. Xiaoxia cannot step up into this lane now because he knows Xiaoxia is somewhere waiting in the wings with the Leona ult.
Just allow Ultra Prime to get too many advantages. RNG needs to start 6 grubs already somewhere. So every auto attack, as you mentioned, means that if much more. They're just going to bleed out and just allow Ultra Prime to get too many advantages. There's 6 grubs already for Ultra Prime, so every auto attack on the turret means that much more. 10 seconds until the dragon is up.
This is going to be Ultra Prime first to this objective. Look at where Milky Way is. He's on the top side of the map. Brother, you got to do something this game because you're losing the farm battle versus the Fury. You're losing the
Prime, the impact on the map.
Look where Milky Way
Maybe
is.
there's a play on top side here. You already see
Brother, you got to do something this game because you're losing the farm battle versus the Fury.
Milky Way just walked around, took a recall.
Please do something, brother.
Maybe take a play on top side here.
Setting up for a dive potentially. Here we go. One going to try to back. The ultimate gets dropped down.
Milky Way just walked around, took a recall.
Able to flash away. Milky Way just able to dive potentially. Here we go.
It was ugly, but it gets the job
dropped down.
40
Public
HP
execution too. Wonjong able to flash away. Milky Way just able to survive.
But
it was ugly, but it gets the job done.
40 HP and look what's happening on the opposite side.
Yes,
first
part of the game going
being
down.
able to get some advantage.
You just
on
give
the
them
top
too much
side,
time with 6 grubs. I mean,
look at
this is the result you're going to get. Really disappointing play by RNG and really good stuff. The control of the early game by time with 6 grubs. I mean, Junhao has done this is the result you're going to get in this really disappointing play by RNG and really good stuff. The control of the early game by Ultra Prime. I mean, Junhao has done so much in this
such a tightly contested game like RNG Ultra Prime. That only hurts your chances at being able to have a chance. Every one of these matches matters, and if fight your way out of tightly contested game, RNG they got to pick up the slack. They got to be able to improve. That only hurts your chances at trying to have a chance to make it into Crab and fight your way out of Nirvana. So it kind of feels RNG like they got to pick up the slack. They got to be able to improve where they can. Shout out to Xiaoxia trying to steal bad matchup for Scuttle Crab and one of our rookies of the split from 2023. It kind of feels like Tangyuan and Milky Way again. It doesn't get much better this time around. It's a bad matchup when you're playing up against and one of our rookies of the split from 2023, Galio, and then the Fury as well. It doesn't get much better in this game. I don't like their odds when you're playing up against.
Ultra Prime may already be
dealing with this full tank.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Galio and then the Fury as well, picking up 2 or 3 items.
The way it's been going so far,
I don't like their odds here.
You're going to be in great shape taking all these turrets, causing a lot of problems. RNG, a team that we're expected with time to be able to gel together. It's been going so far and be really good. You're going to be in great shape to watch all these turrets, causing a lot of problems. We might be watching them in Group Nirvana, man, and we're expected with time to be able to gel together and be really good. This is a split 2 team to watch for, right? Well, we might be watching them in Group Nirvana, man, and if we're watching you in Group Nirvana,
I want to see if RNG can properly contest around this. We do have the Ash. We'll see what happens in this game. We've got Herald spawning in 2 minutes with the Hawk shot. Dragon is 230. Perfect information around the map. RNG can properly contest around this. Really need to have the Ash ultimate. Dig into their heals and find a spot into this game where with the Hawk shot you should just be playing with perfect information around the map.
As you mentioned, just haven't done anything with it.
Really need to kind of dig
chilling in the back pocket.
Find a spot into this game where they can make a stand.
Herald in a minute 20 now as Ultra Prime have complete total haven't done anything with of this top side river. Chilling in the back pocket. We're going to need to see RNG very soon doing much of anything to make something happen, man. Like dropping Ash Ult on somebody's head. I don't see RNG doing much of anything to make very aggressive. Something happen, man. Like so, dropping Ash Ult on somebody's head, untargetable, invulnerable, and dodge out on the stun. Golly.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't want to be like complaining about riot balance, but we need to stop giving champions
untargetable, invulnerable, and dodge out on the
He should have been punished for that, man. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I thought we learned with Akali that just giving people untargetable is not good, but
he should have been punished for that, man. Like,
again, these objectives we saw that during. I thought we learned with Akali that just giving people untargetable is not good. Ultra Prime immediately cut that from underneath them. Again, these objectives, we saw that during all of this play, RNG moving into top side, and they tried to put some vision down towards the bottom side immediately cut that from underneath them for this third dragon of the game. What exactly and where Ultra Prime are deploying to? It seems like they're getting some vision down towards the bottom side of the map.
Over on the top side
play for this
try and stop this Herald from being done. Clear out some of this vision, perhaps, that's been put down with that dragon up in a minute. Congregating in the mid lane, looking to get this wave pushed in top side to fight their way in. This Herald from being done. Is not started up the Herald yet. Vision, perhaps going down. And he will make his own exit. Prime congregating in the mid lane, looking to get this wave pushed in.
They just have complete control of the top side river. RNG, we have to fight, guys. We have to fight. Tangyuan is going to be looking for a teleport. This is on vision here. Xiaoshu has the ultimate and is trying to stay control of the top side river. RNG, we have to fight, guys. We have to fight. I mean, Tangyuan is going to be looking for a teleport. This is on vision here. And Xiaoshu has the ultimate is trying to stay. We're just doing wolves. All right, cool. We're going to give every objective on the map. All right, nice.
But he got wolves.
I'm not mad. And Saber's even getting pushed in mid, so we're just doing wolves. All right, cool.
Herald is going down. Alpha might break out.
All right, nice.
He got Zhao goes all the way in.
I'm not mad.
For Junhao in this fight, off to the side. Looking to maybe fight his way in. The Herald has gone down. Alpha might break out. Focus down one engage onto Zhao. Zhao goes all the way in. People Junhao going through and finding a double kill. Public execution on the backside. Zhao, he may have been taunted, but it's now time for him to rip the fight. People Junhao going through and finding a double kill. Public execution on the backside. Zhao, he may have been taunted, but it's now time for him to rip through the fight. They go over the wall, chasing down Junhao. Is he able to get there? The turret will fall. Should be able to keep them both alive. Takes the portal over on the other side. Zhao getting run down by the dogs. Junhao, is he able to get there? The turret.
It's close coming in. I'm glad that they're trying to at least be a little annoying. I mean, they still won a win coming in.
Oh wait,
for the Herald fight. Themselves the objective, still winning. Close coming in. I'm glad that they're trying to at least be a little annoying to their opposition. I'm going to consider that a win coming in. For Ultra Prime,
it kind of sucks. They need someone to pull it together, someone to
some of those
drive
kills.
the ship.
Because
RNG
just
replay
out of
and
sorts.
It's good.
I like the fact that we're at least calling our shot. We're going to try to make this
sucks. They need someone to pull it together. Someone to
look at where the damage is. Wako's not doing anything in this replay. Junhao has not been able to land anything. I like the fact that the damage goes onto the Cats. We're going to try to make this engage.
But after this, where is the damage?
Look at where the damage is. Wako's not doing anything.
I mean, Tangyuan went into the background. He's like, cool, I have to hit onto a
the damage goes onto the Cats.
But after this, where is the damage? Jochi's already dead.
Don't lose more here. I mean, because they got rid of backline, and all of the dashes that are into Leona and a Galio. Incredibly miserable. The only reason RNG don't lose more here is because they got rid of all of the dashes that are in Nefari's can't put it on.
You mentioned the RNG engage.
Exactly.
It goes on to Zhao again, right? So much opportunity. It didn't work the first time. While this fight wasn't that bad, and it still was a 3-2 in favor of Ultra Prime. You mentioned the RNG engage, but not a fan of it. But Zhao again, at least he was able to get some. It didn't work the first time. Maybe he'll be. While this fight wasn't that bad, and to be able still was a 3-2 in favor of Ultra Prime in these later fights. Not a fan of it, but Zhao at least he was able to get some kills. So maybe he'll be really, really strong and be able to do broken and best of things in these later fights.
With 2 items, I do have to think that RNG are going to have to play the game at a certain point, right? Black Cleaver for him. Same for Milky Way. Tangyuan's close to potentially getting a Leandri's. Maybe they can make a play then.
Black Cleaver coming in.
So that's kind of what I'm looking at.
Black Cleaver for him.
Otherwise,
for Milky Way.
Ultra Prime.
Tangyuan's close to slowly but surely take over this game.
Maybe they can make a play then.
Able to summon Herald wherever they want.
That's kind of what I'm looking at.
All right, this time around, going back onto Zhao, but he's ready to turn it around. He will get stunned. He's still alive, but he'll finally fall. Teleports coming in though, matching each other means that Ultra Prime. All right, this time around, going back onto Zhao, but he's ready to turn it around. He will get stunned. He's still alive, but he'll finally fall. Teleports coming in though, matching each other means that Ultra Prime cannot continue the fight.
Xiaoshu. So
what do we get?
I feel pretty bad, and you're like, okay, cool. You kill our support. He just buys us a little bit of time. They're going to use the Herald here with 6 scrubs. Move Wako over. I feel pretty bad, and you're like, okay, cool. You killed our support. Again, you just buys us a little bit of time. They're going to use the Herald here with 6 scrubs to ask move Wako over. If they can even grab the teleport from him, you just back off from this objective. Again, you have
well, they are going to go for it, and they do have a heck of a lot of damage onto this Otacon. The ward's getting cleared out. Tangyuan, as you mentioned, that TP in the back pocket, but where is it going to go? It can really only go on the way. They are going to go for it, and they do have a heck of a lot of damage onto this Otacon. Is this Otacon getting cleared out? Trying to find a way. As you mentioned, that TP in the back pocket, but where is it going to go? How really scares off the rest of RNG. into his own jungle. 4,000 is this Otacon. RNG trying to find a way in. Are they going to blink some damage? Junhao scares off the rest of Junhao going to target Jacci, getting to the back line. The Galio coming through with the knockups as well. They dive onto Jacci and they take him out of the backside. The other AD carry has fallen. It is just a bad day to be getting to the back line. The Galio coming through, getting low, down to 1,000. They dive onto Jacci and they take him out of the backside. And now the other AD carry has fallen. It is just a bad day to be an AD carry. Otacon getting low, down to 1,000. Secured for RNG. And now the rest of the fight coming through, but they are able to pop the Otacon GAs. Can they actually get anybody for it? You might burn some flashes and some ultimates, but you will lose out on the Otacon GA.
Deny Ultra Prime from grabbing it, but they are still down 3,000 gold versus their opposition. They lose summoner spells in this fight, and now they're going to be looking down the barrel of grabbing it, but they are still down to this dragon. 3,000 gold versus their opposition. They lose summoner spells in this fight. And now they're going to be looking down the barrel of going in a minute and a half time. I love the fact that we're comboing this. Junhao on this Nefiri is looking to carry this game at this point.
He just buys so much space. Yeah, just kill the AD carry.
I love the fact that we're comboing this
go elsewhere.
with the Galio.
No, your AD carry might be hung out to dry as we see Milky Way watch on this replay. He just buys so much space. But like I said, bad AD carry and you force RNG to go elsewhere.
I mean, that's just fair. This entire time, this is what's happening to Jacci. So you're giving Leona, Wenjiang as well has joined.
Like I said, bad
here,
AD
the bottom lane duo of RNG. Yeah, I mean, that's just fair. This entire time, this is what's happening to Jacci. Yes, it's the Otacon going over, but Wenjiang as well has joined Saber here, the bottom lane duo of this game, and putting themselves in spots where not only are they winning the fights, but the Otacon going over, but I just love how Ultra Prime have been navigating in this game and putting themselves in spots where not only are they winning the fights, but they're in a very good spot to win this game
to be able to hop on Junhao
if they're able to maybe get one or two more dragons.
Very
We're looking at that timer in 30
coming
seconds.
Out from Ultra Prime are so Saber, and it ain't Galio, but he's been doing the dirty work. To be able to hop on Junhao or Wenjiang. Very smart pick coming out from Ultra Prime and Saber. It ain't pretty, but he's been doing the dirty work.
Getting that double Q proc onto
Zhaozha. All right, we're engaging on Zhaozha again. Teleport coming through. Good stun is out onto this Nefiri, but they're able to turn it around. Ket will be forced to revive Zhaozha. All right. We're engaging on Zhaozha again. Teleport coming through. Good stun is out onto this Nefiri, but they're able to turn it around.
RNG, we need to do something here, guys.
Will be forced to revive Zhaozha.
We're actually seeing the summoners just be broken. You have no ultimates now. You know that they have no Nefiri ult. RNG, we need to do something here, guys. No Leona. We have to walk forward. Why are we not forcing? You have no ultimates now. You know that they have no Nefiri ult, no Varus, no Galio, no Leona. Completely out of sorts. They're completely split up. Why are we not forcing? Look at where this bottom lane is. Ultra Runner walking straight into the dragon here for RNG.
Trying to link up Zhaozha on the side with
out of sorts. They're completely split up. Look where Tangyuan is. Look at where this bottom lane is.
Getting a little irritated here, looking to reset, and it finally will. RNG trying to link up Zhaozha, not able to make a playoff, trying to take care of him, taking down to about half HP.
Looks like they're just going to trade.
Getting a little irritated here, looking to reset, and it finally will. So RNG not able to make a playoff of this with no ultimates on Ultra Prime.
Looks like they're just going to trade tier 1 stepping up there. We're going to continue this dance around the dragon for Ultra Prime. It's their sole point if they're able to grab it. Another missed ultimate from Zhaozha. Very careful about stepping up there. We're going to continue this dance around the dragon for Ultra Prime.
He's been having a rough time with some of those ultimates on the Leona so far.
Another missed ultimate from Zhaozha.
See if he's able to rebound later as the dragon has once again been started up and he's been having a rough time with some of those ultimates on the low. They're going to get onto the Varus, but the Varus is able to flash away. Two big ultimates down, and now it's time for Ultra Prime to go crazy. Tangyuan on the side has been taunted, but Junhao on top of Milky Way. Zhaozha, they're going to get onto the Varus, but the Varus is able to flash away. Two big ultimates down, and now it's time for Ultra Prime to go crazy. Tangyuan on the side has been taunted, but Junhao on top of Milky Way. Zhaozha forcing people away. They take out the support, and now Saber's getting rifled down, but the health bars are low on RNG. Ultra Prime down a man, but healthier.
So well.
Just completely scattered there from Royal Never Give Up.
Cohesive,
regardless of what happens in this game,
RNG are just fighting on so many different 25 minutes so well. They look like the more coordinated members of the team are. We can take a look in this replay. Xiaoshu's on this flank. RNG are just fighting on so many different fronts, but this Edge of Night does so much work. Other members of the team are, and this just means the fight should have never happened. Xiaoshu's on this flank. They make this pick onto. You see on the side, Tangyuan is trying to fight Saber. This is Galio versus Akali. Absolutely useless. And this just means the fight should have never happened. He's playing Ash. He does no damage into these champions right now on 2 items. You see on the side, Tangyuan is trying to fight Saber. This is Galio versus Akali. I don't know what else to say here, Yanni. RNG just is trying to hit. He's playing Ash. He does no damage into these champions right now. You're starting off the group stage 0 and 2 potentially. I don't know what else to say here, Yanni. RNG just do not look like they have come to play today already in their 2 games.
Not in the slightest.
You're starting off the group stage 0 and 2 potentially. That is not at all the way you're going to be able to even barely contest for a top 3 finish.
The first part of the not in the slightest, and it only gets so harder. I mean, Ultra Prime, I'm sure, against Ultra Prime. Anyone's Legend, I'm sure, is last game looking to clean up their game against RNG, who they've looked like a punching bag in this game. I'm sure they have some kills. Anyone's Legend, I'm sure, is going to be not looking to deep, but clean up their game against RNG. Ultra Prime's got that dog in them, and RNG does have some kills. Sure,
I think it's so exciting for Ultra Prime that we have some newer players showing up in the LPL, and especially
Ultra Prime's got that dog in them, and RNG does not.
Coming through. I think it's so exciting for Ultra Prime that we have some newer players.
Wait a minute, we're gonna blow up Xiaoshu. Perfectly done by Waco, and now the next target's gonna be Milky Way. He's gonna fall too as they're getting knocked down like dominoes off battery. RNG Xiaoshu limp away, done by Waco, and now the next target's gonna be Milky Way. He's going to fall too as they're getting knocked down like dominoes off battery. RNG limp away, and Ultra Prime, I'm sure they're going to be looking for the Baron.
No one from RNG grab Baron. That's an insane teleport going over. I get the fact that you want to try to kill the Varus.
This developmental squad, as you said, looking
no one from RNG is willing to step forward, so it's going to be the Baron going over to Ultra Prime.
A team to watch, and Ultra Prime. This developmental squad, as you said, in the LPL fandom, take away. We're putting you on notice. Watch us and respect us. A team to watch, and Ultra Prime saying to everybody in the LPL and the LPL fandom, we're putting you on notice. Watch us and respect
now, Xiaoshu doing the person with the most experience and Saber. It's his second year of playing. You look across the board in its entire coming from playing on Ultra Prime's academy. Even now, Xiaoshu doing the same thing. And the Ultra Prime, it's his second year of playing competitive to lock down multiple members. Jachi is just playing on Ultra Prime's academy team. Nowhere near the start of this fight. And it's just going from bad to worse. It feels so bad because I had so many high hopes for Royal Never Give Up trying to fight backwards. So far in this first day of this fight, they have just not come from bad to worse. It feels so bad because I had so many high hopes just for Royal Never Give Up in the second split.
They're
so far in this first day of Group B, they have just not come to play.
They are a team with the tools to be so proactive, just not doing so. You know, the Ash Ultimates haven't hit key targets. You know, tough watch. It's going to miss this target too. It's the uprights, man. Proactive, like not doing. I understand the skill shot can be difficult to hit sometimes. Key targets. You know, it feels like you just miss them all. It's going to miss this target. You are missing them all. It's the uprights, man. A lot of games, like. You know, I understand the skill shot can be difficult to hit sometimes. You know, it feels like you just miss them all, but when you are missing them all, you're not going to win a lot of games. Off the rift, are draped in purple is on the rift, and there's just nothing that RNG waving around this
Milky Way, I need you to throw your body in there.
Here we go. He's going to go to Waco. Off the rift are draped in purple, but the protection is there, and they just turn on Milky Way. The guy still has full HP somehow. The 80 carry who was focused lives, and the other 80 carry Jachi goes down finally. Just turn on Milky Way. The guy still has full HP somehow. The 80 carry who was focused lives. The other 80 carry Jachi goes down, let the dogs out of Tangyuan. Able to get to the back line, show Xiaoshu, and he will finally fall, but they peel all the way back. Soon how the dog in him doing the most. I know who let the dogs out of his Ultra Prime. He's kind of low now, but he will be able to walk out and survive as Wonjiang and Saber.
And they just went straight into that back line. I know I wanted to see them mid jungle from Ultra Prime delivering here in their second game of the placements. Only be onto one, and they just went straight into that back line. I know
Noah wanted to see Milky Way go forward. Edge of Night is just doing so much target here, forcing Milky Way to put himself in an is it going to be onto Wako? Xiaoshu with his perfect execution does not land on this. Edge of Night is just doing so much the backline threat of forcing Milky Way to put himself in an uncomfortable position. Or Xiaoshu with this in the picture right now. They're starting up what could be, and Xiaoshu just now has to deal with the backline threat of Ultra Prime and potentially the finishing touches on the Fury.
Could be the final fight. Big double stun from Xiaoshu and the rest of Ultra Prime, like a pack of rabid dogs, show up, get the kill. Dragon going to reset, but they don't very much care. Big double stun from Xiaoshu and the rest of Ultra Prime, like a pack of rabid dogs, show